From pretty much the present, this is your host, Adam Graham, bringing you a week of old-time radio detective podcasts from 2012. Because these podcasts are many years old, any offers or information included in the podcast may not be valid unless they're currently reflected on our Great Detectives of Old Time Radio website at greatdetectives.net. Here now is a week of old-time radio detective podcast. To the Great Detectives of Old Time Radio. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham. If you have a comment, email it to me, box13 at greatdetectives.net. Follow us on Twitter at Radio Detectives and give us a call. The number is 208-991-4783. And become one of our friends on Facebook, facebook.com/Radio Detectives. Today's episode is brought to you by the support of our listeners, and I want to say a special thank you to James, who sends along a donation, and we'll be sending access to our premium site, which we do with all donations of $7 or more. Now it's time for today's episode of Barrie Craig, Confidential Investigator, Visitor at Midnight.
William Gargan stars as Barrie Craig, Confidential Investigator.
It never pays to be friendly with murderers. Give them an inch and they'll take a yard, usually rope, tied around your throat and attached to the nearest rafter.
The National Broadcasting Company presents William Gargan in another transcribed drama of mystery and adventure with America's #1 detective, Barrie Craig, Confidential Investigator.
Craig speaking. If I try hard, I can remember back to the days before I was in this business, when on going to bed at night, I would always look under my bed. No, not for a blonde, a burglar. There never was one, though. So as the years went by, I stopped looking. I just went to bed. On this particular night, however, I had barely dropped off to sleep when I heard a noise at my window. I was practically asleep, and besides, I wasn't in the mood for burglars. The burglar, however, had other ideas.
Mr. Craig.
I'm asleep.
You can't see me, can you?
No, and I'd be happier if I couldn't hear you.
I can see you, however. It helps me aim the gun I'm pointing at you more accurately.
Well, I'd hate to have your aim suffer.
Mr. Craig, I need some advice. I'm a novelist. I'm writing a book about murder. I'm calling it The Unsolvable Crime.
Well, now that you've got that off your chest...
What I came here for was to have you tell me whether or not the murder my book is about is really unsolvable.
Well, why me?
Because you've had a lot to do with murder, for one thing. Because you're not a policeman, for another.
No argument so far.
The man to be murdered, in my book, that is, has heart disease. He's a crooked broker, a man who deserves to die.
Uh-huh. And he suffers from heart disease.
For this illness, he takes daily, at stated hours, capsules containing heart medicine. His life depends on these capsules. Now then, the murderer, in my book, that is, decides to poison the broker.
Well, that's against the law.
Yes, poisoning, but without poison.
Well, get to the next chapter.
The murderer steals one of the capsules, pours the medicine out, and replaces the medicine with ordinary water. Eventually, the financier takes the capsule, which contains water instead of medicine. He dies of heart failure.
Well, not bad.
Thank you. The poisoner can't be traced through the poison he bought because he didn't buy any. An autopsy would show no poison in his victim's body since there wouldn't be any. Most likely, the murdered man would be assumed to have died a natural death. Well,
Well, what?
is the crime unsolvable?
Oh, at the moment, I can't see any flaws in it.
Well, if you can't, then I don't imagine the book reviewers will.
Don't you mean the police?
Why should the police be interested in a book I'm writing?
Why should the book reviewers be interested in the murder you're committing?
You're not serious?
You are.
Well, I'm afraid I must leave now. No, don't move. I still have the gun pointing at you. If I had to shoot you, it wouldn't be an unsolvable crime, perhaps. But what good would that do you? Good night, Mr. Craig. Pleasant dreams.
The gentleman in the dock left quickly and efficiently. So I went back to sleep. When I got up the next morning, I decided to pretend the whole thing hadn't happened. There was nothing I could do, and maybe my midnight visitor had really been a novelist. I cherished that happy thought until breakfast.
Your toast, Mr. Craig, in the morning paper.
Thank you.
Oh, you're up early this morning, aren't you?
Well, I'm glad you noticed. Any resemblance between this toast and toast is purely coincidental. What does your chef do? Tan the stuff? Hey,
I beg your pardon?
very interesting news item here. Halfway down the front page. Take a look.
James W. Baker, noted broker, dies of heart attack as police prepare to arrest him for embezzlement. A friend of yours?
No, but he was a crooked broker, and he had a bad heart.
Oh, is that important, Mr. Craig?
It depends on whether he took his medicine in capsules.
What depends, sir?
Murder. Sure, maybe it was a coincidence. But if it was the kind of coincidence that goes better in books than in reality. James W. Baker was listed in the phone book. So, feeling that maybe the long arm of coincidence had strained a muscle in this particular case, I decided to pay the late Mr. Baker a friendly visit.
Hello.
Hello. This is the Baker home, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I'm Mr. Baker's niece. And you?
Barrie Craig. I'm an old friend of your uncle's.
You're not old.
Well,
And you're not a friend of my uncle's. But come in anyway.
thank you.
My name is Sandra.
I realize maybe I shouldn't have come today. You must be all broken up by your uncle's death.
Who? Me?
Well, the family.
Well, that's me. I'm the family.
Your uncle must have been a lonely man.
He didn't mind. He had me. And the market. And all those people he was swindling, of course. And there were Mr. Hanson and Tommy.
Who's Tommy?
Oh, sort of stunted youth. Uncle's secretary. Very anemic. I always ignore him.
And Hanson?
Hanson was Uncle's lawyer. And I fondly suspect as big a crook as Uncle was. But very spatted, you know?
Spatted?
Yes, on the shoes and gardenia'd in the buttonhole. And I have a sneaking suspicion whiskeyed in the liver.
Sounds nice. Anybody else close to Uncle?
No.
Then it boils down to one of you three.
What does?
Who's happy now that Uncle's dead?
Well, I am. Hanson is. Tommy is.
Well, that just about covers the field. Well, why is everybody so happy?
Uncle had some money. I get it now. Hanson stole from Uncle, and he won't go to jail now. Tommy was implicated in Uncle's swindling. Tommy won't go to jail now.
And who has a very deep, rasping voice, with the trick of dropping his voice at the end of every sentence?
I don't have a very deep voice.
Are Hanson and Tommy around?
Yes, they are. They're sitting around practicing grief-stricken looks for the funeral. That happy event is this afternoon. I better get dressed.
Sandra.
Hurry.
Oh, who's hurrying?
I am. Who are you?
Barrie Craig. And you?
I'm Tommy. I'm Mr. Baker's secretary.
Well, in his condition, he doesn't need a secretary.
Well, then, I'm Mr. Baker's former secretary. No, I'm the former Mr. Baker's No,
I get it. Relax.
I am relaxed.
Then why are you in such a hurry?
Well, I have to go out to hire some mourners, haven't I?
You have to hire some mourners?
Well, sure, it wouldn't look nice if there were only 3 of us at the funeral.
No. Especially since you'll all be grinning from ear to ear. Incidentally, has your voice ever been deeper?
Heavens, no. Ta-ta.
Goodbye. Oh, back again? Oh, no. Hello?
Good morning. I'm in a hurry. Hanson's my name.
Well, why are you in such a hurry?
Well, you see, my tailor is expecting me.
Your tailor?
Well, you'd hardly expect me to attend Mr. Baker's funeral in this, would you?
Impossible.
What are you doing here?
Looking for a man with a deep voice.
Sorry, mine isn't. Goodbye. Why are you looking for a man with a deep voice?
Well, he told me how Mr. Baker was going to be murdered.
Well, of course, that explains everything. What did you say?
That's what I said.
But Mr. Baker died of heart failure.
Well, that's another theory. I like mine better.
Dear me. If I only had the time, but my tailor, you know. Goodbye.
I stayed in my chair for a while, staring at the door that had shut behind Hanson. Wondering. I'd been handed my 3 suspects. There was something else, though, that might help, it occurred to me, in a bookstore. And I chose a bookstore in the same neighborhood as Baker's house.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hello. Do you carry medical books?
Why, yes, we do.
Would you happen to have one on the diseases of the heart?
Well, now, we don't stock many. We had one, but we sold it last week.
Oh, that's too bad.
I'm sorry. No, it's funny. The person I sold it to was a very nervous gentleman. I rather suspected at the time that he might have a heart condition himself.
I see. Do you recall his name?
Name? Oh, yes. Yes, I remember. It was Hanson. That's right, Hanson.
Mr. Hanson's taste in literature was interesting. It occurred to me Mr. Hanson himself, if I could pin him down, might be more interesting still. Hello, Mr. Hanson.
Oh, Mr. Craig. Come in.
Thank you. Well, how did the funeral go this afternoon?
Very sad indeed. Funerals upset me.
Yeah, I can see how that would be. Have you ever tried reading for your nerves? It's supposed to be very soothing.
Oh, I'm afraid I have no patience for books.
Not even books on heart disease?
What was that? Why, Excuse me. Hello? Oh, yes. Yes, of course. At once. Goodbye.
Bad news? You turned pale.
I'm terribly shocked. Tommy, you know him?
Baker's secretary? Yes, I know him.
Well, it seems that something's happened to him.
What?
He's dead.
This not only upset Hanson, it set him in motion. The direction was the Baker house. I approved and went along. Hanson, who phoned you?
Sandra. Apparently, she'd been visiting friends, returned home, and found him.
Of course, it might have been an accidental death, which would mean another point of coincidence, but I don't think so. However, if he was murdered...
You seem to have murder on your brain. You said something about the police thinking Baker was murdered, too.
Not the police. Me.
Oh, hello.
Hello, Miss Sander. Have you notified the police?
Yes, I phoned them just a few minutes ago. This is his room. I heard the shots.
When?
About an hour ago.
You phoned Hanson here only 15 minutes ago.
Well, I didn't know what it was then. Tommy was going to join me downstairs. When he didn't, I realized it must have been a shot. There he is.
Yes. Not at all pretty. Definitely dead. There's a note on his desk.
A suicide note?
Let's see. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. It reads, I killed Baker because if he'd been arrested, I would have gone to jail, too. I thought I got away with it, but the police suspect he was murdered. I can't take it, so excuse the blood. The note's signed Tommy.
Well, that sort of clears that up, doesn't it?
Yeah, except for one thing.
What's that?
Tommy's voice wasn't deep enough. The police showed up in a very little while. Tommy's death seemed to be an obvious suicide. I think the police attributed it to insanity. They didn't know what he meant about Baker's having been murdered. As for me, there didn't seem to be much of anything to do at the moment, so I went home and went to bed. This, it would appear, was going to be a case where I didn't sleep. I resisted the impulse to throw the phone out the nearest window and answered it. I'm asleep, and so should you be.
Craig?
Now that you know I'm at home, good night.
Wait a minute. Craig, you told Sandra about someone who came to you in the middle of the night and told you about Baker's murder.
Yes, I did.
You described that voice very carefully. Craig, would you like to hear it again?
Very much.
Then come down here at once. The Kent Club on Marshall Boulevard, and I can arrange it for you. The man with the voice you described is here.
I'd pretty much given up expecting to hear that voice again. But if Hanson said he'd heard it, then it was something for me to find out about. From the time I got the phone call to the time I got to the club, it must have been about a half an hour.
Craig, I've been waiting for you.
That was the idea, wasn't it?
Yes, but that man whose voice I overheard, whose voice resembled the one you told Sandra about.
Well?
He's gone.
Well, that's not so good. You know who the man is?
No, but I do know something just as good.
What's that?
I know where the man went. I heard him tell his cab driver.
Then let's go there.
Of course, Craig, you realize that I'm not absolutely sure it's the man you want.
Me, I'm grabbing at straws. Anything at the moment is worth trying.
That voice did sound like your description. Baker belonged to the club, too.
It's a possibility. Hanson, Sandra told me you'd been stealing money from Baker.
I don't think I care for that kind of conversation.
I'm not making conversation. I'm asking questions. Was she telling the truth?
What difference does it make?
If Baker was murdered, it might make a lot of difference.
You say if Baker was murdered. Aren't you sure?
We'll know better, won't we, when we meet this man whose voice you overheard?
Yes, we'll know better. The only thing is, suppose something happens to him.
Hey, are we still in the United States? We've been traveling for hours.
Apparently he lives farther out than we realized. Shouldn't be much farther. Craig, mind if I ask you something?
Go ahead.
It's about Tommy. I can see him committing suicide, all right. He never impressed me as being much of anything. But somehow I can't see him murdering Baker.
People rarely kill other people in front of witnesses.
That's not what I meant. Craig, are you sure Baker was murdered?
No.
But you said before...
I said I suspected it. That's something else. However, I am sure of one thing.
What's that?
I'm sure Tommy...
Yes?
...was murdered. I was never a Boy Scout, so I don't know very much about direction in the country. But I was surprised at where I wound up. Where the car wound up was a bumpy dirt road in a very secluded hunk of landscape.
Well, that must be the house up ahead.
Yes, and the house is dark.
Probably took him less time to get here. Must have gone to bed.
Probably.
There's a mailbox. House number on it. Yes, this is it.
Well, let's go visit.
Craig, do you think he'll recognize you?
Sure. I couldn't see him, but he saw me clearly enough.
That's not so good. Are you armed, in case he tries anything?
No, but maybe he won't try anything.
Suppose he refuses to say anything, to speak at all, when he sees you.
That'll answer our question just as well, won't it?
I suppose so. Shall I ring?
Sure.
Oh, that would be warning him, though, wouldn't it? Suppose he hears the doorbell, looks out, sees you. He might run away.
He might.
Look, why don't I go around to the back? Then in case he tries to run...
That's a good idea. You do that.
All right. And be careful.
Sure, I'll be very careful. The moon picked out the door, glinted on the metal doorbell. I pushed it. It was a nice night, not too warm, not too cold. However, a guy named Craig was cold. Walking into a dark house with somebody waiting on the other side of a door could have its unpleasant aspects. Nobody answered the doorbell. I hadn't expected anyone to, so I tried the handle. It was very dark inside. I pulled out a book of matches and hesitated. In the darkness, when you strike a match, you make a very nice target. I wasn't sure I liked the idea. On the other hand, I needed a little more action. It would settle things. I lit a match. There was a light switch on the wall, and I flipped it on. Then I walked into the parlor. There wasn't much more to the house than that. Parlor, bedroom, kitchen, and that was all. The bedroom door was open, and no one was in there. The kitchen door was shut, but no light leaked out from under the door. Offhand, you'd have said nobody was home. And maybe nobody was. So I sat down near the table lamp that was the room's only illumination. Somebody made noises in the kitchen. Could have been mice. It could have been the mystery man with the deep voice, or it could have been a high wind that was slowly swinging the kitchen door open. I decided, whatever it was, that I didn't want the lamp to glare in its eyes, so I turned off the lamp and quietly shifted from my position next to the lamp to the other side of the room. That even matters up. It was dark in the kitchen, it was dark in the parlor, and nobody could see anybody. My unlit friend shifted slightly, and I began to get bored. So I grabbed what felt like an ashtray and threw it against the wall on the opposite side of the room. The little stranger didn't like ashtrays. He tried to shoot the one I threw, but the gun flash gave his position away. I know where you are, and my gun's pointing at where you are, so drop yours. It didn't work. I hadn't expected it to, which is why I moved fast after speaking. I figured he still had 3 more bullets, any one of which, hitting me, could be painful, so... Drop the pop gun, huh?
All right.
Thanks. We can use a little electricity now. Hello, Hanson.
Craig.
My, you're bleeding. Your arm?
Yes, I didn't know it was you.
Who'd you think it was?
Well, I waited outside for a while. Nothing happened, so I came in.
And then, when you didn't recognize my voice in the dark, you started shooting at me, huh?
That's right.
Thinking I was the owner of this house?
Of course.
But, Hanson, how could you think that when you yourself own this house?
What? But I don't understand.
You're not very subtle. When you asked me if I was armed before we got into the house...
You said you weren't.
Of course. You see, I knew you were going to try to kill me.
What? How did you know that?
Because you overheard the man with the deep voice.
Well, what was wrong with that?
You couldn't have heard him. You see, Hanson, the man with the deep voice is dead. The police were glad to get Hanson, especially after I pointed out to them that Tommy's suicide note was a fake. They couldn't have known that, but I did. As I told Sandra, first about the note. You see, it said, the police suspect Baker was murdered, but the police suspected nothing of the sort.
You did, though.
Yes, but the only one I told was Hanson, and Hanson himself assured me he never spoke to Tommy. Therefore...
Hanson killed Tommy after making him write the note?
Right.
But, Barrie, what about the man who spoke to you in the middle of the night? He wasn't Hanson.
No.
Well, he couldn't have been Tommy.
No.
Well, then who was he?
Sandra, there were 3 people involved in Baker's possible murder, we thought. You, Hanson, and Tommy.
That's so.
Well, we were wrong. There were 4 people involved.
4? Who's the 4th?
The murderer. Baker himself.
Oh.
Then we asked, why did the man come to me in the first place?
Well, he said to make sure his method of murdering somebody would never be detected.
Yeah, that's what he said. But in coming to me, didn't he make sure of the very opposite? Wasn't he making sure that it would be detected?
Oh, Barrie, you're very, very brilliant.
Oh, wait a minute. Now, Baker knew he was going to jail. He also knew that very probably Hanson would try to murder him. He didn't care very much. He was an old man and a sick one, but he did want to make sure his murderer would be punished. That's funny.
What is?
If Hanson hadn't tried to make doubly sure he was safe, he probably would be safe. I doubt whether there'd have been enough evidence to convict him of your uncle's murder. But he'll hang for Tommy.
You've been listening to William Gargan in another exciting transcribed mystery drama from the adventures of Barrie Craig, confidential investigator. Tonight's story, Visitor at Midnight, was written by Louis Vittes. The National Broadcasting Company has just brought you an NBC Radio Network production with William Gargan starring as Barrie Craig, confidential investigator. Directed by Andrew C. Love. Our cast included Ken Christie, Kay Stewart, Jack Carroll, Byron Kane, and Jack Crucian. Convicts tell their true life stories on The Loser tonight over most NBC radio stations.
Welcome back. Well, this episode today was actually originally broadcast as an episode of The Saint nearly 5 years previously. This week's show was from May the 12th of 1955. And on July 30th of 1950, NBC aired The Case of the Previewed Crime with Vincent Price playing the Saint. So, another one of these examples of script reuse. It'll be more than 2 years before we actually play that episode, so we may have forgotten by the time that it was later reused on Barrie Craig. All right, well, now we turn to listener comments and feedback. Joan comments, hi, on Podcast Alley. Hi, Adam. Thank you very much for the Pete Kelly's Blues shows. I also like Barrie Craig with William Gargan. You mentioned a couple weeks ago about how actors we hear on radio do not always look the same in real life. I'd seen a few of Gargan's old black and white movies on Turner Classic Movies on TV, and I must say he does look how I imagined he would. He was a great actor, and it's too bad he's gone now. I love his raspy voice. It suited him. As always, Adam, keep up your great work. From Joan in Southern Ontario, Canada. Well, thanks so much, Joan. And that will actually wrap it up for today. We'll be back tomorrow with the aforementioned Mr. Pete Kelly. And then come join us back here next week for another episode of Barrie Craig Confidential Investigator. If you've not already, I encourage you to pick up a copy of my ebook, All I Needed to Know I Learned from Columbo. Take a look at 7 great detectives of radio, literature, and television, and examine life lessons that can be gleaned from their characters and history. The ebook is available on every major ebook store other than Apple, and it's also available on smashwords.com, and of course for the Kindle. That's all I needed to know I learned from Columbo. Now it is time for today's episode, Dr. Jonathan Budd and the Dutchman.
It's about the world he goes around in. It's about the big music, and the big trouble, and the big 20s. So when they ask you, tell them this one's about the blues. Pete Kelly's Blues. Pete Kelly's Blues, starring Jack Webb, with story by Joe Eisinger and music by Dick Kepner.
My name's Pete Kelly. I play cornet. You'll find us at 417 Cherry Street, Kansas City. It's a standard speakeasy. The whiskey matches the color of your money. It's a fairly quiet crib, never any real serious trouble. The competing torpedoes in town regard it as a sort of a neutral zone, a place to meet and maybe talk things over before going to the gun. The Switzerland of Kansas City. The lease is owned by George Lupo. He's a fat, friendly little guy who has only two things in his life: dollars and cents. We start grinding every night at about 10, and we play till the cash register tape gives out. But that's all right with us. He lets us play the kind of music we like and pays off with a smile. Sometimes we even manage to get a few bucks. Last night we were dragging through the lull hour of the first set when the distinguished old guy came in. I'd seen him in the place many times before, always with the Dutchman and 2 or 3 of the Dutchman's guns. He'd sit at their table, letting their whispers float around his gray hair, never taking part, just sit quiet, gaining slowly on the open bottle in front of him, staring at a point that probably didn't exist. This was the first time I'd seen him without the Dutchman. He started to sit at the usual place, hesitated, looked around the half-filled room, took the small table in the corner near the bar. He smiled up at me as he poured his first drink. There was nobody behind it. We went into the wind-up.
Man, we sure drag heel tonight. What's up next, Pete?
Nothing. My lips raw. Let's get off for a while.
You're burning that lip at both ends, Petey. Slow down.
You want a beer at the bar, Red?
No, thanks, Petey. I'll catch me a hunk of fresh air in the alley.
All right. On your way out, throw some nickels in the pianola, will you?
Right. See you later.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Forgive me. I spoke quite on impulse. I find myself the sudden victim of an overwhelming desire for companionship.
Yeah. I see you're alone tonight.
I'm alone every night. Please sit down, if only for a minute.
All right.
Thank you. What will you drink?
A little of that ginger ale will do fine. You expecting your friends?
That's the one thing I can count on tonight, the arrival of my friends. I should like to compliment you, Mr. Carey.
On what?
Your music. I must confess I don't really understand it, but I do understand and recognize one thing: faith. You play your cornet as though you believed in it.
Thanks.
That is a priceless thing, Mr. Kelly. Faith and a belief in something. Never lose it, sir. Because when you do, you're lost yourself.
Yeah. Well,
No, please. Just sit another small minute.
All right.
I lied to you, Mr. Kelly. I told you I wanted companionship. No. What I really want is an audience. There are so many things I want to say and so little time left in which to say.
Sounds like you're about to get married. Have another drink, huh?
You think I'm drunk, don't you? Well, you're right, I am. But not on whiskey.
Yeah. You're scared, aren't you? Is that it?
Yeah. Feel my heart. Expending enough energy to power a modest side then.
What are you afraid of?
All evening I've been asking myself that same question. What am I afraid of? Surely it can't be the loss of life. And yet...
You sick?
With a disease for which neither man nor magician has yet been able to effect a cure. The wrath of a killer.
You're a target, is that it?
I, as you so graphically put it, am a target.
The Dutchman?
The Dutchman.
Look, I don't make this. Right now you should be 2 yards the other side of Baffin Bay.
Streets are lined with the Dutchman's gun.
But you gotta make a pass at it. You can't just say, okay, here's my head with a 50-cent cigar in it. Don't you want to live?
I thought not. My adrenals refuse to concur.
Look, isn't there somebody to help get you out of town? A friend?
I have no friend, except the Dutchman.
The law? Yeah. Now, look, I gotta get back up there. Take this key. Hotel George, around the corner. Go up to my room. There's no reason for him to look for you up there. We'll think of something.
Do you think so? Do you really think so?
Now, look, we're gonna try. If we can't, we'll need 2 50-cent cigars. Now, go on.
P?
Yeah, Red.
What's the matter with the senator?
Nothing 1,000 miles won't cure. All right. Let's do goose pimples. All right, everybody ready? I don't know if I'm going to make it or not. Red, take over. I'm going to duck out for a while.
What's wrong, Petey?
My lip. It's starting to limp.
Uh-oh. Here comes trouble.
Mr. Kelly? Which Mr. Kelly?
How many Mr. Kellys you got in this crib?
Never mind, Jamie. I'll handle it.
You ask the punk nice, is he, Mr. Kelly? So he gives you with a snotty which Mr. Kelly?
All right, Jamie.
Please forgive Jamie. He hasn't had much sleep lately.
Yeah, well, you wake him up and tell him there's another Kelly. Bob Kelly works downstairs in the plant. Maybe he's the boy you want.
No, we're looking for Pete Kelly.
Yeah?
Yes, Pete Kelly.
Oh, not Bob Kelly.
Not Bob Kelly, Pete Kelly.
Yeah. Well, I'm Pete Kelly.
I'm Pete Kelly.
We'd like to talk to you for a minute.
Sure.
Outside?
Outside?
Just in the alley. Private.
Yeah, well, I'd like to oblige you, but you see, friend, I got a job to do here.
Outside?
All right, Jamie. Mr. Kelly understands.
Yeah. I'll be right back, Red.
Yeah.
Smoke, Mr. Kelly?
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
You're welcome. You like my brand?
Your brand?
Gold tip, you like it?
Yeah, sure. I never smoked anything else.
There was an elderly gentleman inside this evening. He also smoked some. Did you smoke one of his?
Elderly gentleman?
Yes, about 55, my height, gray hair, blue eyes. He sat at your table. You had a nice drink with him. You smoked a cigarette of his.
Sorry, I haven't seen anybody all night.
All right, Terry, let's get to it. Stop with the circle talk.
Easy.
We got the rumble you was talking to.
Well, you're wrong.
Well, you... All right. Go on me.
That's enough.
Yeah, all right. Now, you listen, Junior. The next time you put your hands on me, you walk away without them.
You deserve that, Jamie. You have to learn when to and when not to. Jamie's young, Mr. Kelly. He thinks he has to make his reputation in one night.
Can he be friendly? Can he be nice? Can he be honest? Why can't he tell us the truth and let us go about our business?
That's fair enough. Isn't that fair enough, Mr. Kelly? Isn't Jamie right this time?
Yeah, sure.
Seems to me he's being fair. Seems to me he's right this time.
I'm always fair. I just ask for cooperation.
That's it. That's all. That's all we ask. Just cooperation. And, mister, you're going to cooperate. Army surplus, mister. This gun's been to France and back.
What do you want?
Small hunk of truth. You sat and talked to this gentleman?
You see? He ain't going to cooperate.
Yeah, I talked to him.
What about?
Listen, Matt.
What's this and what's that?
Music.
What else?
Horses.
What else?
Women.
What else?
That's all.
You're lying.
Terry says you're lying. He knows. It's his business to know.
Music, yes. Horses and women, no, not him. You're lying.
He was drunk.
How drunk?
Drunk enough to talk about horses and women?
What's his name?
He didn't say.
Where's he now?
I don't know.
You saw him go?
I left him at the table.
All right.
That's it, Terry?
For now. Mr. Kelly says he doesn't know where he is. Maybe he's telling the truth.
You got it all.
But if you're lying, Jamie's going to come back and see you alone.
Well, I didn't need Einstein to figure it out for me. They were a couple of the Dutchman's guns. Assignment, rub out of one old party. Method, burn down anybody in the way. And from here on in, they'd cuddle closer to me than a baby kangaroo to its mother. Well, I had to get that old party out of my room fast. I told Red to keep the boys working, and I went on the prowl for Barney Ricketts. Barney's an ex-bootlegger. He went broke in 1922. Nobody's been able to figure out how a bootlegger could go broke in 1922, and Barney refuses to tell the secret of his failure. He did it the hard way, and he isn't going to make it easy for anybody else. He wasn't at Sour Sammy's joint. He hadn't shown at Papa Pastor's, and I was starting to worry when I caught up with him at Joe Donegan's over on 12th Street. As usual, he was boiled and loud.
Ah, Pete Kelly, the Kansas City Gabriel.
Listen, Barney, I need a favor.
Without evasion, Petey, I tell you right out that your arrival is ill-timed.
A major league favor.
I was just about to pour a potion, and now I'm forced to ask you to share it with me.
No, Barney, look, there's no time.
That's your trouble, Petey. No true understanding of the meaning of time. Do you know what time in the life of one man really is? I mean the nature of it and its function.
Yeah, I know all about it. Now, listen, Barney,
Of course you don't, and it isn't many men who will so frankly confess their ignorance. That's what I admire most about you, Petey. Your honesty in admitting to your abundant ignorance.
All right, Barney.
No, you mustn't be disheartened. The very fact that you know that you don't know is a hopeful sign. It means that you are ready to learn, and I will be your guide, counselor, and teacher.
Yeah.
Now then, take time.
All right.
And to properly understand the true nature of time, you must take time to understand it. Regard time as a valise. To each man at birth, such a valise is given, some large, some small, according to his destiny. That is the one thing which he cannot really choose, the size of the valise which we call time.
You all through now?
Yes, what are we going to put into your valise this time?
Maybe a hunk of hope for a guy who needs it.
What's his problem?
He was sitting in 417. I talked to him.
A mobster?
No, educated, cultured, gentle.
I see, a dangerous man.
No, he was lost, Barney. Lost and frightened. The kind of fright that freezes you when you're on the other side of a gun.
I see. Who fingered him?
The Dutchman.
The Dutchman?
That's right.
Tell me, is he about 55, gray hair, blue eyes?
That's right.
And you don't know who he is?
No, he didn't say.
Well, Peter, you're right and you're wrong. He's educated, cultured, gentle. But you're wrong about helping him. Nothing you or anyone else can do can stretch his valise.
Why not?
Because the Dutchman says no, that's all.
Well, who is he?
Dr. Jonathan Budd, an excellent surgeon and general practitioner.
But what's he got to do with the Dutchman?
For the last 2 years, he's been under exclusive contract to the Dutchman, sort of company medic for the Dutchman's torpedoes. On call 24 hours a day. Remove an appendix or a bullet as the circumstances may require.
I don't make it, Barney. A man like that. Why would the Dutchman want to send him over?
I don't know, Petey, and I don't want to know. Go back to Lupo's, pick up your horn, and forget all about Dr. Budd.
I can't do it.
Heed me, Petey. The Dutchman says drop dead, he'll drop dead. Don't be near him when he falls. Don't get into this, Petey.
I'm already in, Barney. I sent him up to my room.
You didn't.
He's there now, waiting for me.
Get him out of there.
I had to help him, Barney. You can't just stand by and send him into the street to be cut down. A man has to have somebody to worry about him, somebody to help him.
Get him out of there.
I can't.
Why not?
I'm being watched.
By the gun?
Yeah.
You sure?
They got the buzz I was sitting with him. They're keeping a string on me.
Petey, you fool. How long do you think it'll be before they get into your room?
That's why I came to you, Barney.
No, Pete, not this time. Not where the Dutchman...
Look, they're on my back, Barney. I'll draw the guns off. Back to Lupo's. You get him out, Barney. You can do it.
And what do I do with him once I got him? Ask him what he'll charge to cut you out of my life?
Take him to the other side of the river, over to Fat Annie's. Tell Maggie Jackson. She can fold him into the shed out back. He'll be safe there.
Fine. He can make a new life for himself in Fat Annie's shed.
I'll think of something. I'll shake the guns after I get back to 417. And I'll think of something.
You do that, Petey, because if you don't, you'll be dragging a full valise before morning.
Well, I scuttled back through the streets, back to 417 Cherry. The guns were right behind me. My valise was getting fuller and heavier by the minute, and I knew I'd added a few pounds to Barney's. But that's the way it is. The guy drifts into your life, holds out a finger for help, and you take hold, and you're near to drifting out of it with him. But what can you do? You gotta take hold, or you don't sleep so good anymore. Well, Lupo glared at me with his "what am I paying you for" glare as I ducked into the joint. I started for the bandstand, and I didn't get past the bar.
Mr. Kelly?
Yeah.
I've been waiting for you.
Yeah?
Could I talk to you?
Oh, go ahead. I'm listening.
Someplace alone?
What about?
It's about my name's Mary Budd.
Oh, come on, behind the bandstand.
Thank you.
Let's go, Petey. Lupo's just docked us another fin.
I'll be right with you, Red.
Yeah.
All right.
I was told you saw
Saw who?
my father,
Lots of fathers come in here. Who's yours?
Dr. Budd. Dr. Jonathan Budd.
You drive a car?
Yes.
Your license with you?
Yes.
Let me see it. Thanks. All right. Now pay attention. Your father's in trouble. The big trouble.
Why? What's happened?
The Dutchman took a dislike to him.
Who's the Dutchman?
You don't know?
My father never told me anything.
Well, you're a big girl now. The Dutchman's a man with a gun. He's pointing it at your father. All right, now hold on. Maybe we can...
Why would anybody want to kill my father?
I don't know.
He's never hurt anybody in his life. Why would this man
Look, lady, I got no answers for
Maybe
you.
if we could find out why... Maybe we could... Are you sure you have no idea?
All I know is the Dutchman said drop dead. There's no court of appeals for that.
Yes. I understand now.
But we still got a chance. It's skinny, but it's there.
Where's my father now?
He's being taken across the river. Fat Annie's place. Boulder Road. Is your car out front?
No, I left it downtown.
Good. Go get it. Make sure you're not tailed. Go to Fat Annie's. See Maggie Jackson. I'll try to shake the Dutchman's guns after the next number. But if I can't get over to Fat Annie's, you collect your father out of that shed and back. Hit the highway north on the Kansas side. Now, you got it?
I'll never forget you for this, Mr. Kelly.
Yeah, sure. All right, let's settle down. Settle down, huh? What's up?
Newlyweds in from St. Joe been asking for a cornet solo for an hour.
All right, what do you think?
Well, how about Pigeon-Toed Jode?
Oh, my lip and you ask for that? All right.
All right, Pigeon-Toed Jode. You got it?
All right. I'll give you the pickup. That's all for me tonight, Red.
Let me see that.
Huh?
Yeah, you ain't fooling. Your lips bleeding.
We'll do the next set without me, huh?
Oh, man, that Lupo, he's sure making the deducts tonight.
Where's the Erskine Park, Red?
Around on 10th Street. You better put the top up. Looks like rain.
Yeah, all right.
How long you gonna be gone?
Huh?
I said, how long you gonna be gone?
Depends on how much room is left in my valise. Well, I left the stand and headed for the men's room just like nothing was happening. I bolted the door behind me, crawled out through the small window, dropped into the alley, and lit out for 10th Street over fences and through backyards. Red's Erskine was right where it ought to be. I slammed over to 12th, rattled across the bridge, jolted down Boulder Road to Fat Annie's place. Halfway there, it started to rain. Inside Fat Annie's, business was slow. There was nobody there. Maggie Jackson was making for her piano when I got inside.
Hi, Pete. I'm glad you got here. We got a tenant in the shed out back.
Yeah?
Yeah, with a short-term lease. Just a minute, Pete. All right, Ray. I ain't going nowhere, ain't seeing no one, no how. 'Cause love and I are parting, starting now. I'm on good behavior, so honey savior, hello. In answer to your passive, philosopher's no. I've been somewhere, seeing someone most every day of my sad life. I'm gonna trade in my mad life for something slow and safe, and so I ain't going nowhere, ain't gonna wrinkle my brow, 'cause love and I are parting, starting now. That was nice, Ray. Place is really good tonight.
Yeah, business is bad all over. Look, Maggie, how about the guy in the shed? Is he all right?
He ain't bleeding none yet.
Where's Barney?
He just dropped the package like it was hot chitlins and dusted.
The girl get here yet?
What girl's that?
The tenant's daughter.
No girl showed yet, Pete.
Well, the minute she shows, Maggie, send her outside, will you?
You going to the shed, Pete?
Yeah.
Best to go through the kitchen, straight out the back.
Sure. Thanks, Maggie.
Sure. Good luck.
Doc, it's Kelly. Pete Kelly, Doc.
Come in.
Yeah. You all right, Doc?
Yes. The roof leaks and I've run out of cigarettes.
Sure. Here.
Oh, thank you.
I'll give you a light.
That's good.
Yeah, now look, I think we're home safe. I'm getting you out of here.
Tell me, why do you bother?
What?
I said, why do you bother?
Look, Doc, don't confuse me.
You're an anachronism, Mr. Kelly. A moral man in the immoral jungle.
Now look, I talked to your daughter. She'll be here soon.
You talked to my daughter?
Yeah, that's right. She's coming to pick you up.
Small girl, red hair, blue eyes?
Yeah.
Mr. Kelly, I have no daughter.
You don't?
You talked to the Dutchman Smile.
Yeah, but the license, her driving license. She showed me her driving license.
Sure she did.
I believed her.
Yes, an excellent actress. And you told her where I am. Did she ask you anything else? What you might know about the Dutchman and me?
Well, she asked. I knew nothing.
You're sure? You're sure you told her you know absolutely nothing?
Yeah, that's right.
Then you're safe. You'll be all right. They'll forgive you for trying to help me. You finally did tell them where to find me, and for that, they'll forgive you.
All right, come on. Now, let's get out of here. Let's get
No,
moving.
Mr. Kelly. You'd better go quickly.
Well, I got a car. We'll make a run for it.
No.
But they'll be here any minute.
And I'll be waiting for them. No use to run anymore.
Yeah.
In some strange way, I've begun to realize that I'll welcome their arrival. But I don't want to escape. You see, it's impossible for a man to escape from himself. I am nothing more than the works I have done. It is those works which decide the ultimate fate of a man. Mine, and rightly so, are about to kill me. No, we cannot escape from what we have made of ourselves.
Yeah, but look, you can start all over again. There have been others like this before. They ran, took the chance, and ran.
Strange. Things taught me in my youth. Things unremembered for years. My freshman days at school. and the words of Socrates when Crito urged him to delay the drinking of the hemlock as others before him had delayed. Yes, Crito, and they of whom you speak are right in so acting, for they think that they will be gainers by the delay. But I am right in not following their example, for I do not think that I should gain anything by drinking the poison a little later. I should only be ridiculous in my own eyes for sparing and saving a life which is already forfeit. Please, then, to do as I say, and not to refuse me. And so, I ask you, Mr. Kelly, don't refuse me. Go now, please, for your sake. I'm all right.
You're not all right. They're going to kill you. Don't you understand that?
I understand.
Yeah. Sure you do. There's nothing more I can do?
Nothing. Except perhaps a cigarette.
Sure. Take the pack.
No. Two will do.
Yeah. Goodbye, Kelly. Goodbye, Doc.
Kelly.
Yeah.
Please leave the door open.
Yeah.
Pete Kelly's Blues, starring Jack Webb, with story by Joe Eisinger and music by Dick Cathcart. Scoring by Matty Matlock. The music of Pete Kelly's Big Seven and Maggie Jackson is now available on phonograph record.
The proceeding was transcribed. Now join the Great Gildersleeve on NBC.
Welcome back. Well, a very downbeat ending, but a strongly, I think, a very sincere effort by Pete Kelly. I've heard this a few times, and each time I listen to it, I somehow hope that the episode will turn out differently, but of course it doesn't. Definitely a solid performance by Webb, and trying to save the doomed doctor. It's a very deep episode, so. Alright, well that will actually do it for today. This is our second to last episode of Pete Kelly's Blues. Join us next week for our final installment. And then also, I do want to remind you, if you like Jack Webb, we have the Old Time Dragnet podcast. We only have about 30 episodes left to go, so you can follow that at radiodragnet.com. Well, I should note here before we get started that we're skipping a few episodes that are not available in the general availability. So we're going actually from August of 1951 down to September 24th of 1951. Now, there are 22 episodes between that. Some of these are available from radio archives. They're available commercially. The Discovery of Ponce the Lion, Big Brother, Sucker Stunt, Crescent Lane, The Man from One Cachet, Is Everybody Happy? What Became of Terry Cable, and Drop Dead and The Fairless Cow, Deal Me Out and I'll Deal You In, Murder on Vacation, and Blue Plate Special. Those are available from radioarchives.com and in their Volume 1, 2, and 4 sets. So if you want to enjoy those, I'd encourage you to get it from the commercial dealer. But here now is today's episode of Let George Do It, Frame for Hanging.
Write full details.
Oil Company of California invites you to Let George Do It. Before we begin tonight's adventure of George Valentine, here's a reminder about motor oil. Compared with premium-type oils, as designated by the American Petroleum Institute, new RPM motor oil doubles engine life between major overhauls due to lubrication. And it doubles protection against gum, acid, and corrosion. For longer and better engine performance, change over to new RPM motor oil at independent Chevron gas stations or standard stations where they say and mean we take better care of your car. Framed for Hanging, another adventure of George Valentine.
Dear Mr. Valentine, my name is A.W. Anchors. The card I'm enclosing will introduce you as my representative.
Anchors? Surely you realize the importance of that name? Of course, the initial A is for Andrews and all the money of his mother's family. Never heard of him.
Well, let me read the rest of this.
He's from Detroit. And when he asked me this afternoon to deliver this message...
Oh, hold it, will you please?
Well, I only...
You're just delivering this note, check, Mr., whatever your name is?
Frame. Gerald Frame.
Yeah.
But of course everyone calls me Jerry. You see, I'm in the downtown office of Mr. Anchor's local administrative branch. He's only in town once every 6 months or so.
Okay, Frame. I get the picture.
Everyone makes his little joke.
Yeah. So, Mr. Frame, tell me what's in this note from this big shot boss of yours, Anchors.
Well, of course, I don't know exactly what...
Well, if you don't know, tell me why you should know. You delivered it like the man said. Thanks very much. Goodbye.
No, he asked me to find a messenger, but naturally I assumed he didn't want to trouble me. I don't mind, though. Certainly if Mr. Anchors needs assistance, we should all do what we can.
Curiosity killed a cat. Doesn't that worry an office boy?
What? I beg your pardon. I'll have you know I'm in a position of some trust in the organization.
Take your Frame out of here.
Now, see here, Mr. Valentine.
Eager Beaver.
Yeah, go on with the letter, Brooksy.
Oh, dear Mr. Valentine, my name is A.W. Anchors. The card I'm enclosing will introduce you as my representative. I expect you to meet me at the office of the Dewey Company, one of my local holdings, promptly at 5:30.
As Nibs has spoken. Well, it's almost 5:30 now. Think I'm supposed to tremble?
George, listen. My local inspection tour suggests that I have one problem of personnel to clean up.
Oh, personnel. So that's it. Name of Frame, you want to bet?
Yeah.
The office nuisance. Big case.
Yeah, he's certain.
What's the matter?
Well, maybe this isn't quite as routine as it looks, George.
Huh?
Mr. Anchors says, I normally don't interfere in these matters of local personnel, but I need your advice, since I certainly don't want to be the employer of anyone who might commit murder. We're only a few minutes late, George.
Don't see anybody waiting in the reception room.
I'm dreadfully sorry, but we're closed now.
Well, this is the office of the Dewey Company, isn't it?
Administrative section, but I'm dreadfully sorry. I'm just locking up.
We were supposed to meet someone here.
Please leave your name on the pad. Sorry, I have a date myself. I'm sure you understand.
Supposed to meet Mr. Anchors. Dreadfully sorry.
Who?
A.W. Anchors. I have a card he wrote to introduce me.
Oh, no, that's not necessary. I'm so sorry. Yes, of course, you're his personal representative. I mean, I had no idea. It's just that I had a date and I was trying to get away. Oh, please excuse me.
Oh, sure, but where is he?
Well, he was in and left. I don't know, but he'll be back if he said he'd meet you. Why don't you just sit down and wait? I mean, here, you take the keys. That's it. And for heaven's sakes, don't tell him I treated you like a salesman.
Oh, hey, wait a minute.
I've got to get my coat. You just lock up when you leave. Leave the keys here tomorrow.
Well, the little card seems to work wonders. Imagine knowing a man who knows A.W. Anchors.
Oh, sure. Big man except in words. If he'd only told me what it was he wants me to do, I'd
Your name isn't George Valentine, is it?
Oh, back again. That's right. What's yours?
Angela Barclay. There's an envelope out there on the table. It's in Mr. Anchor's handwriting.
For me? Yeah, let me see it.
Well, he must have left it when he was here.
Yeah, thanks. Well, what are you waiting for?
Mr. Valentine, what exactly are you doing for Mr. Ankers?
You expect me to answer that?
Well, I don't want to be personal quite so quickly.
No, of course you don't, darling. Mr. Valentine is nothing but a personnel man.
Oh, well, I might be personnel, mightn't I?
Yeah, I guess you could be a problem.
Oh, why, thank you. But that wasn't
George,
quite what
Miss Barclay seems to have a date with Jerry Frame tonight.
Oh.
I'm sure she's in a hurry.
What? Well, how did you know?
Guessed. He's a man we met once.
Oh.
I noticed Mr. Frame's picture on your desk, that's all. He looks much better without his glasses.
Oh, well, he doesn't mean anything. He's just the pursuing type. You know how it is. And when your job throws you together with someone who's ambitious...
Sure. You're curious and
What? Oh, but I'll stay here if you like. I meant I could break the date or...
I know. That's what I mean. You and Frame have one thing in common. You'd like to know what's in this letter.
Well, good night, Mr. Valentine.
Well, if looks could kill George, she might be the type any employer would worry about.
Brother. You know, this case is crazy. More orders from the big man.
Oh, what does Mr. Ankers say?
Sorry, but I see no reason for waiting. Besides, the person I want you to meet and give me your opinion on is right there anyway.
What? Well, then it is her. Wait, I'll call her.
His name is Joseph Portland.
Huh?
Oh, that does it. Somebody we haven't even met yet.
Joseph Portland.
Yeah.
He's right here. In the woodwork, I suppose.
All the silly, crazy things.
George, where are you going?
To give Ankers the benefit of the doubt for about one quick look, then we go home.
But that's the wrong door.
Oh, where are the lights back here anyway?
This might lead to another office, but from the street it just looked like warehouses in the back.
I know.
Oh, ouch! Oh.
He's right here. Sure, investigate the little man who wasn't there. Yeah. Why, that's no employee. Somebody snooping around. Stand still, Angel. There's a side window here. I can see the street light. I want to take a look at it.
Oh,
Doc! I'm all right.
Hold still there. I see you.
It's crazy.
There he comes.
Don't move, I said. I got the drop on you.
The heck with him, trigger-happy
George, be careful.
Thought you'd get me, did you? Well, this'll... Hey, where did you...
I mean, that gun was
Okay. Think you're smart, do you? Creeping in here like...
George, where are you? George, what happened?
Oh. Relax, Brooksy. I can't even see where I am.
No, you don't. I'll get those lights. Well, two of you. Guess I better get the police.
Night watchman.
Oh, brother.
Nobody's gonna creep up on me, I'm telling you.
Watchman. And I suppose your name is Joseph Portland.
Stand there, you. You bet it is. I'm no Hank Wales. I'm no sucker.
Stop waving that thing.
You stand over there, too, sister.
Now, Portland, wait. I didn't know who you were, that's all.
So now you're educated. Operator, give me the police.
Now, listen,
Yeah,
I don't
right.
blame you for jumping. That's Portland. Hey, Portland, look. I work for your boss, for Ankers.
Huh?
Yeah, sure. Here, look. I got a card. Says I do.
Careful there. This is the Dewey Company, Mac. Dewey's my boss.
But Mr. Ankers owns the company, doesn't he?
Yeah, I take my orders from Dewey, see?
Sure. I understand that. But you're a sick man. You've got palsy of the trigger finger.
Hey!
There. Now shoot somebody.
George, he can reach the gun.
No, he can't. Come on, Brooksy, let's get out of here fast. I don't have to dislike this case anymore because now it's all over.
But what business has Ankers got meddling with my personnel problem?
Mr. Dewey, I don't know and I don't care.
No, I'm not blaming you, you understand.
Well, we are. It took too long to find you.
But it'd take a lot more than 2 hours to find the mighty Ankers. So I'm telling you to get a new watchman down there and fast. Thanks and good night.
Portland's all right. Ankers is crazy. I'll phone his hotel. Just because he buys me out is no reason for...
Mr. Dewey, whom do I sue for being shot at?
What? But Joe is a watchman, and you
He
were...
didn't even call out to us or ask what we were doing.
Oh, you don't understand. His relief has been sick.
I understand you got a nervous Nellie down there who's got to be replaced. That's all I care about.
Mr. Valentine, I know what Joe Portland's like. He's been with me for a long time. So had Hank Wales.
Who? George, that's the same name the watchman mentioned.
Yeah. And Ankers ought to understand. He was in town when it happened. What kind of a bloodless machine is he? Maybe Portland hasn't gotten over it. Maybe he does need another vacation.
Now, wait a minute. Who's Hank Wales? What happened?
Well, I thought you knew. Hank was a buddy of Portland's before he was killed.
Killed?
Sure, last year. Oh, hello. Give me room 1610, please. Yes, Portland got shot in the leg, but Hank let them get the drop on him. Just from being such a polite watchman.
Who got the drop on Wales? Who killed him?
The same whoever it was who got away with the payroll and the rest of it. Didn't you ever hear of the amalgamated robbery? That was us. $250,000.
Oh, I see.
No wonder Portland's still a bit nervous. Oh, hello, Mr. Ankers.
Here, give me that. Hello?
Hello? Who is this? Hello?
Mr. Ankers, this is that sucker named George Valentine you sent down to get shot at.
What's that? What are you talking about?
I'm sorry to wake you up like this in the middle of the night, but I wanted to give you a report. That's more than you gave me before I started.
What? No. I gave you his name, Joseph Portland. I wanted your opinion, having such a nervous watchman, but you didn't wake me up. The police did. They're standing here right now.
What?
I just hired you too late, that's all. Joe has murdered a man, just as I was afraid he might.
Joe has...
Yes. Killed a prowler not over half an hour ago. Prowler. I knew that man should be fired.
Okay, Buster, let's have it.
Fine watchman. Portland shot one of my own men, that's what he did. Some worthless young eager beaver from the office uptown. He killed a fellow named Gerald Frame.
We'll return to tonight's adventure of George Valentine in just a moment. You don't have to be a musician to know that you can't play a melody with just one note, and trying to make your car give all-around performance with just one gasoline quality is equally impractical. Refinery engineers can make a gasoline that will stress one performance quality above all others. A gasoline can be produced that gives you quick starting, but very little mileage. Another may give you lots of power, but lack other necessary performance qualities. The makers of Chevron Supreme take into account the fact that a gasoline must have many different qualities in order to give all-around performance. Chevron Supreme gasoline gives you not one, not two, but all 8 high-performance qualities in correct balance. They are power, mileage, anti-knock, vapor lock prevention, starting, warm-up, acceleration, and area blending, qualities that are right for the kind of driving you do where you do it. Be sure your tank is filled with not one, not two, but all 8 high-performance qualities. Qualities you get in every gallon of Chevron Supreme at standard stations and independent Chevron gas stations where they say and mean, we take better care of your car. Back to tonight's adventure of George Valentine. The mighty Mr. Ankers has hired you. A nervous night watchman at the plant of one of his local companies needed to be replaced. The only trouble is he wasn't replaced soon enough. He's killed a man, the eager beaver named Jerry Frame. Well, if your name is George Valentine, it's a little hard for you to believe that this is anything but murder.
He was crawling along there, I tell you. I thought he was trying to get in where the files are kept.
But couldn't you recognize him? Worked for the same outfit as you do?
I'm a night watchman. I never seen him before.
It's true Frame had no business coming down here, Lieutenant Johnson, except in the daytime.
Just a minute, Mr. Ankers, please. Joe, didn't you challenge him or anything?
You think I'm doing guard duty?
So you shot first and asked questions afterwards.
Oh, leave me alone.
You should have been fired months ago.
Yeah, you can say that again.
I'm not going to end up dead like Hank Wales. You cops ought to know what it's like to be all alone and responsible when people are snooping around.
Yeah, he's right about one thing. This Frame guy was snooping, all right. Came in through a side door to the plant entrance.
Well, I'll grant you the young man was apparently the type who nosed into everything he could.
What was worth snooping for? I understand you don't keep oversized payrolls around anymore, Mr. Ankers.
Of course not. Not since the robbery last year. The insurance company won't allow it.
Oh. You're insured now.
Why? Wasn't he before? Not completely. That robbery where the other watchman was killed and Joe here wounded cost me the tidy sum of $75,000. So if you think this was none of my business, if you think I can sit around and be kind-hearted like Dewey has been doing...
Okay, I get the idea. Thanks very much.
Of course. Whatever you wish.
He's sure the high and mighty, ain't he?
Hey, Joe, what did you mean people have been snooping around? Huh? What you said a minute ago. I don't mean Jerry Frame because I'll believe it about him.
I don't know. Sure, there's been something going on, but I don't know what. Past week or two since my relief's been sick, 2 or 3 times somebody's broken in, but I couldn't catch him.
Better be more specific than that, Portland.
Nobody's going to get the drop on me like they did on Wales. I got a gun, I use it. This plant was robbed once, mister. Sure, Wales, he yelled to see what the noise was, like a sucker. They slugged him, then they killed him with his own gun. Same one got me in the leg. Sure, me, I come running like a sucker too, but not anymore, I'm telling you.
Joe,
I'm the watchman.
Joe!
I know. Jitters. That's what's wrong with me, ain't it? Maybe Ankers is right. Maybe I ain't got no business working here. Sorry I shot that man tonight.
Okay, come on, Portland. We got some records.
Wait a minute, Lieutenant.
Yeah?
Hello, Sergeant.
Listen, we got the gun.
Huh? What gun? You're way behind times. Portland here's going to sign a statement he killed a man. What are you talking about?
No, here, look.
Let me see that. Property of J.F. Dewey Company, police special.
Hank Wales' gun.
What?
I worked on the other case last year, Lieutenant. So did one of the ballistics men. He thinks it'll check out.
The gun that killed Hank Wales a year ago. The one that was taken away from him at the time of the payroll robbery.
That's it, sir.
Holy shit.
Might explain why that jail Frame was snooping again. We found this gun in the top drawer of the desk in Frame's apartment.
First lead we've had in a year.
I know, but wait, Johnson. All I want to know is whether that old robbery and murder was committed by one man or by a gang.
One man, and I bet it was an inside job. Maybe it was Frame himself. He was snooping again tonight, wasn't he? He had the gun, didn't he? Hey, wait a minute. Where are you going?
Your figuring's a little wrong, Johnson, but straighten it out for yourself. Meantime, I'm going to see a girl about a date.
You already knew I had a date with Jerry Frame.
Sure, Miss Barkley, and you probably kept it, too.
No, I didn't. Honestly.
You saw him tonight before he was shot, didn't you?
No. After I left you at the office, after I went home, I was dressing. He phoned.
Where from?
Well, how should I know? He just said something awfully important came up. Something he'd been working on, and he'd be delayed, that's all. Except...
All right, except what?
Well, he did say he was going to buy me a mink coat.
Ah.
I thought he'd been drinking or was trying to be funny or
Miss
something.
Barkley, do you think Jerry Frame killed that watchman and stole that payroll last year?
What? Oh, of course not.
I agree with you. A man who's committed a perfect crime doesn't keep the murder gun around for a year in practically plain sight for people to find.
Well, then what are you driving at?
But a guy who's nosy and ambitious and tripping onto old evidence might have such a gun in his desk.
You mean Jerry knew who the robber was?
Well, how else can you explain it? Who do you know that calls at this time of night?
Well, nobody.
Yeah. You want me to be your last caller? Come on, get in there.
What? Oh, Mr. Valentine.
Go on. Where's a piece of paper and a pencil? Never mind, I see something. Just stay in there and be quiet, will you?
Miss Barkley?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear... Oh, hello, Mr. Dewey.
Valentine.
Yeah, me. Your receptionist doesn't seem to be here.
Well, I thought she might be upset, that's all. She knew this boy who got killed.
Yeah, I know.
What are you doing here?
Same thing you are.
You knew she had a date with him tonight?
No, I just thought she might be able to help tell us what Frame was up to. But if she was actually planning to be with him, was actually in on whatever he was...
I don't really know that. I just thought... there's a note here.
Oh, I didn't pay any attention, just sitting here waiting for her to show up.
Lane 62, 1:15 a.m.
Well, yeah, but it's not her handwriting.
It might be his, mightn't it? See here, Valentine, she's not mixed up in any of this.
I'm waiting to find out.
Well, it's Anker's company now. He's the one responsible. But I know my personnel. This is all up to the police, not us anyway.
Sure. Run along if you want.
Yes, I guess I might as well.
Sure, you do that.
Mr. Valentine! Valentine! What do you think you're doing in there?
Be quiet, lady. I'm thinking.
Let me out of here. I heard those things you said. There isn't any note in there.
Be quiet, I said. You're running away. You've already left for the airport.
What? You're crazy. Get that key and let me out of here.
Have a nice time in the waiting room. Happy landing. See you later.
Mr. Valentine, how can I recognize anybody? When that stick-up happened last year, I didn't see anybody to shoot at. Wasn't even a shadow like there was tonight. Just gun flashes and noise.
Joe, I got you out of jail, didn't I? So trust me. Brooks, are you sure Mr. Anker's got that message all right?
He's convinced that Angela's running away, if that's what you mean.
That's what I mean. Well, here we are. Here's the airport.
Big, dumb, trigger-happy. That's what those cops call me.
Joe, don't.
Hey, Valentine.
Hey, you got men watching outside, Johnson?
Sure. I'll play ball with anybody.
Angela's supposed to be running away on the 1:15 plane. It's still half hour or so.
From what, may I ask, Miss Brooks?
For you to figure out the obvious, Lieutenant. Joe here is nervous. He's trigger-happy.
You should hear what the police doctor had to say about him.
Come on. Let's move out of the light.
Sure. Call me anything you like.
Oh, wait, Joe. I meant that somebody took advantage of you. Don't you understand?
Sure. I can figure that
If
far,
last
but...
year's robbery was an inside job, then whoever did it must have been scared to death of what Gerald Frame was finding out.
And what nicer way to handle Frame than to trick him into going down to the plant at night? Like throwing him in a buzzsaw. Only how was he tricked into getting killed as a prowler?
What difference does that make?
The important thing is that everyone knew that Jerry Frame was going around with Angela Barkley. The one who committed last year's crime and who sent Jerry to be killed tonight must think that Angela knows who he is. Well, now that's the trap. That's what we're doing.
I hope for your sake it pays off.
But you know yourself, Frame was the kind of nosy, ingratiating man who could have been tricked into using his nose once too often. Anybody, Mr. Ankers or Mr. Dewey.
Mr. Dewey's an awful nice man. He couldn't have had anything to do with robbing his own plan.
Sure. Skip it, Joe. Come on, we better stay out of sight. Let's go over there by that hangar and wait.
The police didn't do a thing. They didn't stop anybody. The plane's leaving.
Yeah, sure. Good bear trap. It just didn't work.
Not a smell of anybody. Ankers is still at his hotel.
But didn't anybody try to send Miss Barkley a message or a telegram to the plane?
25 men checked every taxi, every family waving goodbye, everything.
So she really could have left on that plane and no one would have tried to stop her.
Yeah, we're right back where we were a year ago, trying to solve that original robbery.
Okay, Johnson. So if you haven't got evidence, you make up some.
Huh? Oh, there's a bright idea.
I just did. Don't you get it?
What are you talking about, George?
Well, if it was either Ankers or Dewey, this stunt tonight would have scared the daylights out of them. Okay? So it's not either one of them.
Oh, that's just peachy.
Now, I was hired to solve a personnel problem. Okay, here I go. If you've been so trigger-happy, Joe, ever since last year, Dewey would have had to fire you no matter how nice a guy he is.
What do you mean?
So, all right, you haven't been. You just got nervous recently.
I don't get you, Valentine.
Wild man with a gun. It's an easy enough act to put on.
What?
Sure. Joe, who could get Gerald Frame down to the plant easier than yourself? Just phone up and ask him to come down for a talk. And who else knew that I'd already tangled with you? That you'd be jerked off that job fast, that there wouldn't be any more golden opportunity to get rid of nosy Frame.
You're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about.
When you pulled the original crime, when you shot the other night watchman last year and even shot yourself in the leg to make it look good, you slipped up, didn't you? You lost the gun or it disappeared. So you had to stay on, had to keep your job. It was the best cover anyway. And then finally you discovered who had the gun. It was Frame. And he was breathing close to figuring it all out, so you got rid of him. Well?
I'll kill you for saying that.
Yeah, sure. Shoot first, ask questions afterwards. But who else could have staged both jobs so they looked right? Oh, never mind. I know we had to prove the other guy's innocent to make you guilty. Only you did it yourself, too, you know. The gun.
What's that?
Yeah.
What about what gun?
In the original holdup, you said you didn't see anybody. And they slugged the other watchman and took his gun and shot him with it. And shot you in the leg with it.
Well, so what?
Well, in the dark, all those flashes you chatter about that makes you so nervous. How could you tell which gun did the shooting? Unless you were pulling the trigger.
Why you...
That's all, Buster. Sorry, but sometimes it is better to shoot first and ask questions afterwards. He's all yours, Johnson.
George, aren't you even going to wait to see what he says?
Not me, Brooksy. I've still got a girl locked up in a closet, remember?
You know, every evening it gets dark a little earlier, and you're probably doing more driving during the twilight hours, the time when most accidents occur. So don't take chances with a dirty windshield. Clear visibility means extra safety. Next time you're out driving, stop in and let our car savers clean your windshield quickly and expertly. It's just one of the many extra services at standard stations and independent Chevron gas stations where they say and mean, we take better care of your car.
George, you mean Angela didn't have anything to do with it?
That's right, Angel. Joe Portland ran strictly a one-man crime. That was all there was to it.
I wonder if Mr. Anchors guessed. Wonder if that's why he hired you.
I doubt it. Yeah, this is the street she lives on. No, Brooksy, Anchors might be a little high-handed, but I got over being sore at him a long time ago. Just like Dewey. Perfectly nice guy who hates to fire people, that's all.
It was a pretty neat stunt of Joe's, wasn't it? Pretending to be nervous. He could shoot anybody, and it'd be called justifiable manslaughter.
Sure, he even built up the legend by trying it out on me. Wait a minute, here we are.
Oh, George, it's so late. Why don't you just give that key to the doorman there and ask him to go up and unlock the door?
Oh, I don't know. Personnel problem. For Anchors, of course, Angel.
Her name's Angela, isn't it?
Yeah, but she can scarcely fly out. No wings that I noticed.
You call me Angel sometimes. You did just now.
Sure did. What's the matter? She's not that good looking.
George, I don't have any wings either.
Hey, you doorman, catch. Go upstairs and open the door, will you? I'm busy here. I got a little personnel problem.
Tonight's adventure of George Valentine has been brought to you by Standard Oil Company of California on behalf of independent Chevron gas stations and standard stations throughout the West. Robert Bailey is starred as George with Virginia Gregg as Brooksy. Let George Do It was written by David Victor and Jackson Gillis and directed by Don Clark. Ken Christie was heard as Lieutenant Johnson, Louise Arthur as Angela, Clayton Post as Joe, Pat McGeehan as Dewey, Byron Kane as Anchors, and George Neese as Frame. The music is composed and presented by Eddie Dunstetter. Your announcer, John Heaston. Listen again next week, same time, same station, to Let George Do It. Let George Do It is heard overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. At this very moment, in another part of the world, people are listening to their radios. But these people must first draw the blinds and keep the volume turned low. They are the people who live in Soviet-dominated countries, and they are listening to Radio Free Europe as it keeps alive their hope for freedom. Now, Radio Free Europe needs your dollars to help truth fight communism. Send your contribution to Crusade for Freedom, Empire State Building, New York 1, New York. This is the Mutual Don Lee Broadcasting System.
Welcome back. I guess this episode's kind of an illustration of how society has changed. I think we're probably at the point where where having a personnel problem could not be a comedic or, in this case, even flirtatious expression. But in 1951, that'll work. All right, well, we will be back next week with another episode of Let George Do It. And join us tomorrow. Sherlock Holmes coming up. Well, today's episode is brought to you by the support of our listeners. Thank you so much for your support. We especially want to thank Raymond, who says, Adam, thank you for sharing these old-time radio shows, Ray. Well, thanks so much, Ray. And we're going to share another one. This one is called The Adventure of the Guy Fawkes Society.
From New York City, the makers of Clipper Craft clothes for men and more than 1,200 leading retail stores from coast to coast presents Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's immortal character, the world's most famous detective, Sherlock Holmes, starring John Stanley. This week's adventure, the Guy Fawkes Society.
But Holmes, you're running an unspeakable risk. Can't you allow the police to handle this themselves?
No, Watson, I must be there myself.
Well, shouldn't you take along a revolver, a weapon of some sort?
I think not. They might decide to examine everyone entering the warehouse. No, I shall attend the secret meeting of this bloodthirsty society, accompanied only by my second closest friend, my meerschaum pipe.
We're at the door of Dr. John Watson's study, and we're about to hear another of his adventures with the fabulous Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Harris.
Good evening, Dr. Watson. Have you assembled all the facts for the memoir you're currently writing, Dr. Watson?
Yes, Mr. Harris. It's the adventure of the Guy Fawkes Society.
Guy Fawkes? You mean the arch-conspirator of 17th century England?
The very same.
Well, what sort of organization was this society, Doctor?
Well, it was a secret cult formed in 1897. Their membership consisted entirely of fanatics devoted to one of the most horrifying purposes imaginable.
And what was their purpose?
Well, I shall reveal the incredible secret at the appropriate time, Mr. Harris. But now it would seem is the appropriate time for a word about those remarkable Clippercraft clothes.
So it is, Doctor. Let me paint a little word picture of you in the fine local store that sells Clippercraft clothes. Look expensive, don't they? But you try on a Clippercraft suit anyway. Feel comfortable? Okay. Now you walk over to the mirror. You might as well admit it. You do look like $1 million, and you're thinking, this will really smash my budget. And then you look at the price. Why, it just can't be true. But it is. Only $40 or $47.50, depending on the Clippercraft model you prefer. How can it be? Well, more than 1,200 of America's finest independent stores from coast to coast have put their combined purchasing power into action to save you money. It's the reason only $47.50 buys you a smart Clippercraft suit of worsted fabrics that can take the hardest wear you'll give. Yes, for suits, top coats, and sport coats, you'll find Clippercraft values at the head of the class. Compare Clippercraft with clothes selling for many dollars more. And now, Dr. Watson, what was the Guy Fawkes Society?
Well, Mr. Harris, it was the beginning of November 1897. Holmes and I were returning to 221 B. Baker Street after a late dinner. We were enveloped in an unprecedented yellow fog. We were groping our way up the stairs toward our flat.
Have you the key, Watson?
Yes, here we are. If I can find the lock, Oh, confound it, there's something on the floor here. Kicked it with my foot. Well, I'll see if I can budge it out of the way. Holmes, it feels like a body.
Match, Watson.
Yeah, right. Good heavens, Holmes, it's a man. His throat's been cut. Will you look at this pool of blood?
Light that lamp, Watson.
Yeah, certainly.
Yes, the throat's been slit from ear to ear.
Look, Holmes, on the wall. There's handwriting.
Someone's evidently dipped his finger in the dead man's blood and scrawled a message.
Yes, it says, Guy Fawkes lives. Guy Fawkes lives? Now, what sort of diabolical nonsense is that? Shall I fetch the police, Holmes?
In due course, we shall observe that technicality. Let's have a closer look at the corpse.
What's that in his hand? Is that a chunk of wood?
Pine wood, Watson.
Oh, look, there's some sort of grease at the tip of the wood.
From the odor, Watson, I should say it was oil.
Oh, what the dickens do you suppose he was going to do with a chunk of wood dipped in oil?
Clearly, the dead man was preparing a torch.
A torch, Holmes? That's absurd. Why should anyone want to be marching about with a torch?
The weather about which you've been complaining throughout the evening supplies the answer to that riddle.
You mean the fog?
The unbelievably thick fog, Watson. The torch, coupled with the fog, signifies that the dead man lying before us was a link boy.
Link boy? Yes, I've heard the term. Can't say I've ever seen one.
The venerable tradition originates from the days when it was necessary to accompany members of Parliament home due to the danger of their being attacked by thieves and dissenters and riffraff. Of course, the custom has been abandoned, except for those rare occasions when London suffers an impossible fog. Then the link boys, with their torches, are called out to escort the parliamentarians homeward. Anything in his pocket?
No, there's nothing.
This man's torch hasn't been used. He was therefore on his way to perform his duties. Come, Watson, we're off to see the Sergeant-at-Arms of the Parliament buildings. We shall ask the name of the link boy who failed to appear this evening.
You intend to leave the body here, just like this?
Of course, but I shall mention it to the first policeman we meet. And thanks to the nature of bureaucratic ineptitude, we shall be many steps ahead of them while they're still here scribbling in their little notebooks.
We certainly had the Sergeant-at-Arms and Parliament baffled, asking all those questions about the link boy without ever telling him what it was all about, eh? Let's see now, Holmes. Let's see, we've learned that the dead man's name was Harold Pickering, that Mrs. Hudson admitted him downstairs, that Pickering asked for you, that she saw him go up. The two other gentlemen appeared at the front door a moment later, one of them misshapen and very ugly, that she saw them go up. She then went back inside to her rooms and heard and saw nothing after that until the police arrived. Then we... Holmes, what are you doing to your face?
Smudging it with soot.
What for?
I must assume a disreputable appearance, Watson.
You must assume what?
There we are. Now, off with this tweed suit. And into some tattered things. Unfortunately, you cannot accompany me on this grotesque mission, Watson.
Where are you going?
You'll recall that at Parliament we were told that the dead man, Pickering, resided on Bridge Road by the West India Docks. We were also told that he spent a considerable portion of his time at various pubs in that vicinity. I intend to visit every shabby spot on Bridge Road.
But why the disguise?
I hope to learn what it was that Mr. Pickering wished to tell me when he came here. Obviously, it was something so insidious that it was necessary to cut his throat before he had a chance to talk. I shall visit the pest holes of Bridge Road. I shall be very vocal about loathing the government.
You were never in here before, were you?
That's quite right.
Do you mind if I sit down with you? You look kind of lonesome. I like to make friends with everybody who comes in. Do you like this place?
Very much.
It's the best around this part of London. To try the other places?
Yes, this is my fourth tavern tonight.
My name's Maud. Maud Peters. What's yours?
Like so many of your customers, Maud, I must ask you to accept a significant silence in answer to that question.
My, you've a fancy way of talking. Did you hear me sing?
Yes. Delightful.
Aren't you going to tell me anything about yourself? Where'd you come from? What's your game?
Anything's my game, Maud.
Why do you keep watching the door? Look, you can trust Maud. Everyone will tell you that. The police looking for you?
They might be.
What sort of job did you do?
Suppose we just say that it was unpatriotic.
Is that all you're going to tell me?
Yes, suffice it that it was unpatriotic. I have very little use for our current government. I'm one of those who feels that England, once master of the planet, is collapsing of its own weight.
Ah, you sound just like him.
Like who?
A friend of mine. He always talks that way. He'd like you. You talk like you've got brains. You'd be helpful.
Helpful? To whom? For what purpose?
Did you say Anything's your game?
I did.
Would murder be your game?
If it were worth the candle?
I don't mean just taking care of some blokes in a dark alleyway with a pocket knife. We can find plenty around here to do that for a few pounds or a few drinks. I'm talking about murder in a much bigger way. I mean killing a few hundred people, maybe 1,000. You have the stomach for that?
If there's sufficient to be gained, I'm your man.
Oh, there's more than money in it.
Is there?
Much, much more. It's a wonderful scheme. And there's a wonderful man running it. You and he hit it off fine.
Why don't you introduce me to the gentleman?
Maybe I will. He wants all the help he can find. Yes, you come along with me. It's just a minute's walk from here, close by the dock. It's a basement under an empty warehouse. It's his headquarters.
Who's Maud?
He's the leader of the Guy Fawkes Society. You'll see you now.
It's about time. I might catch my death of cold sitting here waiting in this damp basement.
He's in the next room. Now just go through that door. Here, you better take my candle. It's dark as pitch.
Thank you.
Oh, I must tell you, you may think he's a bit balmy at first. He says strange things sometimes, but that's just his way. He's really brilliant. And don't be frightened by Gerardo.
Gerardo?
Gerardo's the leader's man, sort of his bodyguard and secretary. Gerardo's the ugliest man I've ever seen. Most of his face was burnt off in that fire. Oh, but he won't hurt you. I'll wait out here. Go on through that door.
Very well.
Come in. Come in. I am Gerardo.
How do you do?
Before I introduce you to our leader, would you raise your hand? Higher, please. You do not have a gun or a knife, I hope.
No, I have not.
I just want to be sure. A mere formality. I have the honor to introduce our leader.
Sit down. Get out, Your Honor.
But, Mr.
Get out!
Yes, sir.
Lord tells me that you wish to join our ranks.
Possibly.
I don't know anything about you.
I could be rather verbose about you, though.
You heard?
You're extremely nervous, vain, and have spent a great deal of time outside of England. To be more specific, in a tropical country.
How do you know?
Those pencils on your desk, chewed almost to the point of uselessness.
I...
The restless way you pace up and down before me. The nervousness is inescapable. As for your vanity, you're squinting your eyes in order to have a better view of me, a characteristic of nearsightedness. You require spectacles, but do not wear them. You've spent a sizable portion of your life in tropical countries because your teeth have a distinctive corrosion caused by endless munching upon sugar cane.
Good. Very good. Maybe more was right about me. I have need of men with their wits about them. Ours is a great task, a bloody and dangerous task. But the rewards will be well worth the sacrifice.
What is the task, Mr. Stewart?
What I shall say may sound fantastic, but the truth is often very shocking. My name is Douglas Stewart. My genealogy may be traced to the Stuarts who once ruled my England.
Really?
You don't seem to believe it.
Well,
It's the truth, it's the truth, it's the truth. I can prove that I am the rightful ruler of the British Empire. I've been cheated of my birthright.
Have you?
They plotted against me. The impostors who sit now upon my throne, they plotted against me. When I went to them, when I made my claim, they accused me of being insane. They're nothing but animals wallowing in the sty of their wealth and privilege. They must be exterminated. They held me prisoner.
Oh? Where, Mr. Stewart? On what charge?
They held me prisoner in a hospital for a year, a hospital for the mentally ill.
When were you released?
I was not released. They would have kept me there until I died. They tortured me. I escaped. Now I'm free, and I shall strike back.
What is your plan, Mr.
I'm
Stewart?
not well. They made me sick in that hospital. They injected me with drugs. I'm not well. But I need men of strength to surround me.
What is your plan, Mr. Stewart?
Those who have marched with me will share my inevitable triumph.
Marched with you where? When?
We are known as the Guy Fawkes Society. Can you imagine why?
Quite evident. Guy Fawkes, a deserter, was smuggled back into England by a group of conspirators in 1605. Yes. They plotted to overthrow James II and his government.
Overthrow him?
They planned to do this by concealing a huge store of gunpowder beneath both houses of Parliament.
Yes.
They intended to blow up both houses and stage a coup d'etat. Their plan was exposed. And on November the 4th of 1605, they were captured and imprisoned. I dare say that you have revived the Guy Fawkes plan.
Yes, I have. Guy Fawkes is just 48 hours away. We've dug secret tunnels in the proper places. In just 48 hours, Guy Fawkes' plan to blow up Parliament, its members, and the royal family will become a reality.
Well, Dr. Watson, Mr. Holmes has uncovered a breathtaking scheme.
Yes, he certainly has, Mr. Harris. And you've provided me with just the word I've been seeking.
Well, what word is that?
Breathtaking is the word for Clippercraft clothes, subject on which you're well qualified to speak, sir. Won't you?
Thank you, Dr. Watson. Men who used to spend small fortunes on their clothes are now wearing expensive-looking Clippercraft suits, because Clippercraft gives them all the handsome looks and long, dependable wear they demand without digging deep into their savings. Why, they pay only $40 and $47.50 for Clippercraft suits you'd swear cost twice as much. Really fine fabrics and top-notch tailoring are unheard of at prices as low as Clippercraft. Then, what's the trick? Well, what do you suppose happens when more than 1,200 of this country's finest independent stores from coast to coast, stores you can trust, concentrate their huge buying power? You're absolutely right. Their combined purchasing power drastically cuts the cost of manufacturing and distribution. Doesn't take an adding machine to figure out how Clippercraft's unique operation saves you money, or why Clippercraft suits are such terrific values at only $40 and $47.50. That's why men who know insist on Clippercraft clothes. So be sure to visit the Clippercraft store in your city.
These leading stores in the metropolitan area are proud to add their names to Clippercraft in your suits, top coats, and sport jackets. In Manhattan, Saks 34th, Broadway at 34th. John Wanamaker Men's Stores, Broadway at 8th and 67 Liberty Street. In Brooklyn, Abraham and Strauss. In Newark, New Jersey, Boulevard Men's Shop, Kresge Newark. And in Jamaica, the B&B Clothes Shop, 16408 Jamaica Avenue.
Now, shall we return to the Guy Fawkes Society, Dr. Watson?
We most certainly shall, Mr. Harris. Holmes left the dank, dirty cellar where he'd held his bizarre rendezvous with Douglas Stewart. He returned to 221B Baker Street and recapitulated his experience for him. Good gracious, Holmes, a plan to blow up both houses of Parliament. I can hardly believe it. Shall we inform Scotland Yard of your discovery?
Not just yet, Watson. Impetuosity is a trap into which we must not fall. If the police should intervene at this point, Stewart and his vile henchmen would simply protest their innocence and elude justice. They must be captured with the evidence.
I see. You're waiting to determine their plan of operation. Then you'll strike.
Exactly. And I shall have that information this evening when the entire membership of the society convenes, in that same waterfront spot where the renegade Stewart has his headquarters. As a neophyte, I've been invited to attend their ritual.
Well, Holmes, haven't they questioned you about your own reliability?
Extensively.
I imagine Gerardo was impressed, eh?
Quite. Therefore, I'm off to the foul cellar where the chief lieutenants of the Guy Fawkes Society meet in unholy conclave.
I see you've joined us. I'm glad.
Are you, Maud?
Douglas told me that he's pleased you've joined us.
I appreciate the accolade.
Douglas tells me everything.
He does?
Yes. We sit by the river talking. He tells me about what he'll give me when he's in the palace. A maid of my own, perfumes from France.
He must be very fond of you.
Fond as he can be of anyone, I guess. He thinks about his plans, mostly. Sometimes he doesn't see me for weeks. Oh, here's Gerardo.
Wine, Maud.
Thank you, Gerardo.
Some for you, too.
Ah, Burgundy. Pomard.
We do not drink until the leader enters. Then he will propose the toast. There he is. Silence! The leader speaks. Everyone, rise.
We raise our glasses in praise. In praise! To Guy Fawkes! Guy Fawkes! To his fearless crew, to Robert Catesby! Catesby! John Wright! Wright! Thomas Winter! Winter! Quiet! Now, I want each of you to pay close attention. Tunnels are ready, Gerardo?
Yes, sir.
Good. For those of you who are new, my most trusted men have dug tunnels.
Where are the tunnels, Mr. Stewart?
We work down from the back of the tea room on Parliament Square. This is Ward's tea shop. The tunnels cut across the corner of Parliament Square and point directly to the House of Lords and the House of Commons.
And what do you plan to use to destroy the houses?
Dynamite! Tomorrow night, we shall celebrate Guy Fawkes not along with the rest of England. While they burn Fawkes in effigy in the streets, we shall set off the dynamite. We meet at Mrs. Ward's tea shop tomorrow night at 10 sharp.
You understand exactly what you're to do, Watson?
Yes, exactly, Holmes. I shall tell the story to the Assistant Commissioner of Police. I'm to request that he send a special squad. You'd like them to hide around the corner from the tea shop, eh?
Precisely. And you must try desperately to convince him that his constables are to be armed. I realize it's an extraordinary demand, but perhaps he'll sense the danger.
Oh, by Jove, Holmes, he may not believe the story at all. He may not do a blessed thing.
Oh, we must risk it. Remember, Stewart's asked me to meet him at the warehouse. He, Gerardo, and I will then proceed to the tea shop. There we'll meet the others at 10. If the police will cooperate, they should be at their posts at 9.
Holmes, you're running an unspeakable risk. Wouldn't it be wiser for both of us to try to convince the police to handle this themselves?
And allow them to make a botch of it? No, Watson, I must be on the scene myself.
Shouldn't you at least take along a revolver, a weapon of some sort?
Gerardo might decide to examine everyone entering the warehouse. No, Watson, I shall merely be accompanied by my second closest friend, my meerschaum pipe. Good evening, Mr. Stewart. Maud.
Hello.
Gerardo. Is everything in readiness?
Yes, yes. I have a carriage waiting outside this warehouse. We will be driven to the tube.
Excellent, Mr. Stewart.
You may distribute the weapons, Gerardo. Maud, you will wait here in the warehouse. When it is over, I shall send them.
All right, Douglas.
You have my revolver, Gerardo?
Yes, it is.
Give it to me.
And I?
Oh, we're not giving you a gun.
Why not, Mr. Stewart?
I would feel better if you were not armed. Mr. Sherlock Holmes?
Let me kill him now, Mr. Stewart.
No, Gerardo, no. Ever since his own face was burned off, Holmes, Gerardo enjoys giving the same experience to others.
You lied to us, Mr. Holmes. You've been lying all along.
We're not exactly fools, Holmes. That story you told Gerardo about your criminal background, we took the trouble to verify it. Oh, you're going to the theater. Then after we set off the dynamite, we shall leave the tea room. But you will remain locked inside. You lied to me, Holmes. Everyone lies to me.
Stand up, Holmes. If you try any tricks, I'll slit your throat.
Just as you split Harold Pickering's The Link Boy?
Yes.
That was your handiwork, wasn't it, Gerardo? Pickering, with a keen professional interest in even the vaguest rumor concerning Parliament, must have taken up the scent to your society one evening, perhaps in the pub where Maud sings. He ran to me to bring the news, and you followed him. My housekeeper reported that one of the assailants was repulsively ugly.
I could make you look just like me. I would like to.
Get away from him, Gerardo. Come on. We're leaving for the theater. You first, Holmes. And remember, I have my finger on the trigger of my gun. Maud, stay here. You'll have word from us.
Good luck, Douglas.
We're leaving now, Holmes. Not much later, because I've taken an extra precaution. Since you might have notified the police that our maneuver is scheduled for 10, I've sent out word that we will set off the dynamite 1 hour earlier at 9. Come on. Carriage is waiting.
The tea room is just around the corner, Mr. Stewart.
You told Mrs. Ward to lock up earlier this evening, Gerardo?
Yes.
Well, Holmes, so you finally met someone who is your mental superior. Don't move. My gun is just a few inches from your head. Gerardo and I have a very good view of you from this back seat.
Oh, I had no evil intentions in moving, Mr. Stewart. I merely intended to light my pipe. It's gone out. Do you mind?
Go on.
Most considerate of you.
Here's the tea room.
Step out, Holmes.
Very well.
Walk to the door of the tea room. That's it.
Wait. I want to have a look here on the street.
See anyone?
No. All quiet.
Now, some of the men must be here by now.
Mr. Stewart tonight.
Come in. We're all in the back of the shop. Walk in, Holmes.
Certainly.
Close the door, Gerardo. Don't lock it. We'll have to run out once we set the fuse.
Yes.
Let's all go to the back. Quiet. I gathered you here an hour earlier because we were almost betrayed. Yes. This gentleman standing before you, whom we took into our ranks, is Sherlock Holmes, the detective. He is to be left here just before we set off the dynamite. The fuses are quite long. They'll allow ample time for us to quit the shop and run a safe distance. Has the position of the dynamite been checked? Yes, sir. Ready, sir. We reassemble 30 minutes after the explosion. We meet at the warehouse. I shall be the last man to leave. I'm reserving for myself the pleasure of knocking Mr. Holmes in behind me.
I'm complimented, Mr. Stewart.
Are we ready?
Yes, ready.
Light the fuses, Gerardo.
I say anyone inside? This is the law. There's a carriage caught fire out here. Belong to anyone back there?
The alarm, Constable. Spread the alarm.
Shut up, Holmes. You dirty... The lamp! Holmes has smashed the lamp! Light!
Come on, light another lamp. We cannot see.
The door! Holmes will run to the door. Stop it!
Too late. I see his shadow out there. There you go.
Look outside, police. Barricade that door, Gerardo.
Yes.
Start firing! Fire! Get down! They have guns out there.
Well, Holmes, I never thought you'd leave that tea shop alive.
Oh, I did, Watson.
Oh, it's a magnificent job you've done. Stewart and Gerardo have been taken to the morgue. Rest of the crew's packed off to prison. You set fire to that carriage outside the shop, didn't you?
Of course. I was in the front seat with the driver. He was preoccupied with his horses. Stewart and Gerardo, to keep an eye on me, purposely sat in the back. They could see most of me, but it was comparatively easy to drop a bit of hot ash from my pipe onto the upholstery. I knew that within a minute or two the carriage would catch fire. It would attract your attention, watching from the corner with the raiding party, or that of the constable on the beat. He poked his head in, sure enough.
I shall never cease admiring your quick-wittedness, Holmes.
Neither shall I, my dear Watson. Neither shall I.
Well, Dr. Watson, the Guy Fawkes Society was certainly a blood-curdling experience. Now, might we have an inkling about our adventure with Holmes for next week?
Well, next week, Mr. Harris, I shall relate to you the adventure of Black Peter. It involves a steel harpoon, a dead pig, a proposed Arctic trip, an advertisement for a murder. And I'm quite sure you'll enjoy it.
We shall be here in your study promptly at the same time next week, Dr. Watson, for the adventure of Black Peter. The makers of Clippercraft clothes and more than 1,200 stores from coast to coast have brought you another in the new series of broadcasts featuring the world's most famous detective, Sherlock Holmes. Our stories are based upon the character Sherlock Holmes, created by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and the program is produced and directed by Basil Lockridge. Sherlock Holmes is played by John Stanley, Dr. Watson by George Spelden. This week's story was written by Howard Merrill with special music by Albert Berman. If you don't know your Clippercraft dealer, write Clippercraft, 200 Fifth Avenue, New York City. Be sure to listen next week to Sherlock Holmes in The Adventure of Black Peter. This is Cy Harris speaking for Clippercraft Clothes. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Welcome back. Well, I definitely preferred the Rathbone Bruce version of the story. Plus, I loved Holmes's humility at the end. I'll never cease to be amazed by me either. Amazing. Well, now we turn to listener comments, and we have a review on iTunes. Says, good show, hate commercials. If I have to hear the Clippercraft clothes commercial again during Sherlock Holmes, I'll go crazy. Shows are good, though. Well, thanks so much. I hope you are still in your right mind as you're listening to this after today's program. And the ads, you know, I on the Petri wine ads that were there during the Rathbone Bruce era, we got quite a few complaints. We've not had near as many about Clippercraft. But that may pick up in terms of the number of, or the degree, I should say, of the ads being somewhat intrusive in the episode. Today, of course, we had Watson interrupting his story to give Mr. Harris a commercial cue. And believe it or not, this isn't the worst we're going to hear. The good news is that the Clippercraft ads will go away, but we do have only 34 more weeks. All right, well, thank you so much for all your comments. That will actually do it for today. Join us tomorrow for yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and then join us back here next week for another episode of Sherlock Holmes. Well, today's episode is brought to you by the financial support of our listeners. Thank you so much for your support. And I especially want to thank Daniel and also Alan for sending along their support. And as we do with all donations of $7 or more, we'll be sending access to our premium site. Now it's time for today's episode of yours truly, Johnny Dollar. This one's called The Alfred Chambers Matter, and I have to warn you, the sound quality is not good. In fact, that is far understating the case. I'm sure Andrew Rhines will do the best he can with it, but with that warning offered, here now is The Alfred Chambers Matter.
For your listening enjoyment, John Lund as Johnny Dollar.
Philip Martin, Johnny.
Oh, hello, Mr. Martin.
Got a job for you.
Oh, fine.
We insure Mr. Alfred Chambers of Pittsburgh. He was shot to death yesterday.
Mother?
That's the way it looks. He rented a cabin in Michigan, Lachino Island.
Where's that?
Oh, 30 miles from Sault Ste. Marie.
Right up near Canada.
Yeah, that's right. His wife found him lying in the front room of the cabin, shot through the chest. The officer handling the case is Captain George Lane, Sault Ste. Marie Police. He'll be expecting you.
I'll leave in the morning. John Lund in another adventure of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to Home Office, Columbia All Risk Insurance Company, Hartford, Connecticut. The following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the Alfred Chambers matter. Expense account item 1, $45.95, train fare and incidentals between Hartford, Connecticut and Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Expense account item 2, 75 cents, cab fare to the local police station, where I introduced myself to Captain George Lane.
Sit down, Mr. Dollar.
Oh, thanks. Mr. Martin from your company told me to expect you. How can I help? Well, to begin with, you can fill me in on the details. Sure. You ever been to the Snows? The Snows? Lake Island. Oh, no. Well, there are a whole group of islands on the fringe of Lake Huron. Lake means the channels. It's somewhat of a resort now, but very exclusive. People who go to the Snows have been coming up for years. They own homes on various islands, and we're all together a very respectable community. Alfred Chambers rented the Forester cabin. It's one of the islands furthermost from the mainland, about 2 miles, I'd say. He spent 3 days in the Snows, and then his wife arrived from Pittsburgh. Mr. Schoenberg fellow has a boat rental service. Took her out to the island, and she found her husband laying in the living room, dead, shot through the chest. Any suspects? Not a one. Mrs. Chambers told me she'd separated from her husband about a week before he'd come to the Snows, but she couldn't have killed him. Schoenberg was with her all the time. And according to the coroner, Chambers had been dead for about 14 hours. Until the investigation's cleared up, I've been making my headquarters at the hotel at the Snows. I just came in to get the coroner's report. I was going back this afternoon if you'd care some room. Yeah, I'd like to. Any other homes on the island? Yeah, several. One about a half mile south, one on the other side of the island. This is where Mrs. Chambers found her husband. Lying on his face. The front door was open. He wasn't shot inside the cabin. He wasn't? If you didn't notice when we came in, there was some blood leading up the front steps. See? You can see the trails in here. I got in from outside. Yeah. No electricity in the house. No, Coleman lamps. The other 2 homes on the island have electricity and phones. But this place is nearly 60 years old. The owners never bothered to equip it with any modern conveniences. How did Chambers get to and from the mainland? Boat? The boat from Schoenberg. When the coroner examined him, he noticed that his shoes were still damp. Later examination showed he'd been in the water, fully clothed. It's funny. I think he was shot probably while he was down in the dock. Fell in the water and waded to shore. You say he'd been dead about 14 hours, right? Maybe about 5 in the evening when he was shot. What time does it get dark? Oh, up here this time of year, it doesn't get dark till about 9 o'clock. Twilight. Shot in the chest. You recovered the slug? Yeah, 22, long rifle. Well, he was shot when it was light, and you think he was out there in the dock. For sure he was out there. There was a thick mud on his shoes and on the pants. Now, that mud is on the bottom out there by the dock. In close here, it's more sand. And then to get completely wet like that. Yeah. Well, it doesn't seem likely that anyone could have shot him from the lake. No, he'd have to be out in the boat. That'd be taking a pretty big chance. And somebody on the island. Somewhere in the woods up there, huh? Probably. Someone could have landed on the island any place and walked here. Anyone hear a shot? Yeah, I talked with a lot of people. Some of them remember hearing a shot out that time. There's no telling where it came from. Shot on this lake, you can hear from miles. Well, I'd like to have a talk with Mrs. Chambers. Sure. Schoenberg can take us back to the mainland. We can drive my car over to the hotel. I hope I'm not disturbing you, Mrs. Chambers.
No, not at all. Won't you sit down?
Oh, thanks. Oh, it's a beautiful view.
Yes, isn't it? Is this your first time here?
Yes, it is.
Mine, too. You're an insurance investigator.
Yes. My company covers both you and your husband.
Well, Mr. Donovan, how can I help you?
Answer some questions. I know it's tough at this time.
Well, I'd be glad to tell you anything I can.
Captain Lane said that you and Mr. Chambers get separated.
That's correct.
May I ask why?
This is absolutely necessary.
Your husband's been killed, Mrs. Chambers. Your separation might mean nothing, and then again...
Yes, it was all delivered.
Do you mind telling me about it?
This is the most pleasant subject that I suppose you have to know. About a month ago, Alfred had been killing this woman, and it was serious. We argued, very nasty arguments, that it separated her, but because of the publicity, we held off.
Your husband was in the steel business, wasn't he?
Yes. And we have 2 children. Things like this happen all the time like this. I don't understand. I'm son of a girl, woman, very attractive, quite young. I thought I was told I was in her last year in college.
What's her name?
Oh, I don't think it was her fault.
young and my husband is certainly a very attractive man. I don't understand either of their faults, but see what happened. It would be a shame to involve her.
She's already involved. It looks like murder. Anyone connected with your husband is involved. What's her name?
Elkin. I never met her, but my husband told me she met the girl from a foreign family. A week ago, I wouldn't have cared whether or not she was involved in the scandal, but now... Oh, certainly I have suffered enough, but it was terrible to look at my children. I thought a lot about the girl after I found her. I hope that perhaps she may be spared.
She lives in Pittsburgh?
Yes.
Your husband left Pittsburgh when?
2 years ago today, he decided to take his vacation alone. After it was over.
Why did you come up here?
I thought things over to Mr. Dollar. I decided to do Al as president. I talked with our lawyer. He suggested I have 1 hour talk with Al. I left my phone.
Did you tell your husband you were coming up?
No. He was never with me. There's a phone on the island. The letter would have gotten here after I did it.
So you just packed and came up then?
Yes. I packed one bag. I wasn't planning on staying.
When did you leave Pittsburgh?
The morning of the 18th.
You arrived the next morning?
Oh, I arrived at the sea that night. I came to the Sands the next morning.
You've never been here before?
No.
How did you know how to find the cabin where your husband was staying?
Well, I simply asked him who runs the boat. I asked him to take me to his master's cabin.
I see. Can you think of anyone who might want to kill your husband?
A week ago, I thought about it.
Anyone else?
No. My husband was Sherlock, Mr. Dollar. He was a very respected man.
No business troubles?
Oh, no.
How long has it been since your husband was up here?
Oh, well, that's true. He always has to talk about it. He has to tell the children and children because... Why, this is about 10 years ago. Yes? I think it was about that long before we married.
Well, Mrs. Chambers?
Oh, Mr. Gargan?
I have to get back to Captain Lane. I got his car.
The captain asked me to stay until he finishes his investigation.
Yes, sir.
I don't know anyone who is hoping I might have Valentine. It's a very good friend. He hasn't done that.
Well, thank you very much, Mrs. Chambers, but I...
Excuse me. Yes? Yes. By all means, come right up.
Well, I'll be going, Mrs. Chambers.
I think you should stay, Mr. Dollar.
Hmm?
That phone call was from Robert. It was Elkin.
And now, with our star, John Lund, we bring you the second act of yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Jane Elkins, the woman who had caused the separation between Mrs. Chambers and her husband, had called from the hotel lobby. Jane Elkins, the Pittsburgh college student, had suddenly turned up at Les Chenauds.
Mrs. Chambers? Yes. Come in. We've never met, but my husband told me about you. This is Mr. Dollar. How do you do?
Hello, Miss Elkins.
I'm sorry, I didn't know you were company. That's quite all right. When you called, I asked Mr. Dollar to stay. I'm investigating my husband's death. Oh? Sit down, Miss Elkins. Thank you. Yes, call certainly surprised me. When I heard you on the phone, I thought about calling you too, but... No, I understand.
You were in town when Mrs. Chambers arrived, Miss Elkins?
Oh, yes. I came up with some friends over the home in Northern Ireland. Mrs. Chambers, I blew up. Mr. Chambers was coming up here. You didn't? Mrs. Chambers, I wasn't in love with your husband. I never had been. I must have had to call on. I thought perhaps anyway.
You didn't know Mr. Chambers was coming here?
I had no idea until he arrived.
How long have you been here before Mr. Chambers arrived?
No, I won't.
You told him you were coming up?
Yes, I told him I wasn't sure, but I said I wanted to come up and search for him.
Where were you when Mr. Chambers was killed?
I don't know. I just when he was killed. I heard about it. It's Wednesday afternoon.
When was the last time you saw him?
I saw him Tuesday afternoon. That was last time. He came in to settle there and at the drugstore. We talked and he went back to the island.
Had you seen him much before that, while you were up here?
Yes, I saw him twice. Shortly after I arrived and one time after that at the post office. He was kind of when he arrived, I told him I'd rather not see him while I was up here. The people I stay with now, Mr. Chambers, they're from Pittsburgh also. You know them? The other Webster? Oh, yes. You said before I wrote to his husband that I was engaged to my friend, Charles.
Is he here in the field?
Yes, we all go up together.
Does he know about you and Mr. Chambers?
Yes.
Did he know that Mr. Chambers was here in town?
Yes, he told us.
How did he take it?
Not so well, I'm afraid. That's okay. My father and husband are married. And no kind to end his business. Yes. Nobody will believe it, but it's true. When my husband arrived, I told him... I said I thought it would be best if we forgot the whole thing. I wasn't in love with him, Mrs. Chambers. Not really.
Miss Hawkins, after Mr. Chambers left you that last time in the afternoon, what did you do?
Well, I went back to the house.
Where was Charles? Was he at the house?
No, I don't think so. No, he was out. Mr. Barrie, no, it's a difference.
That's a simple question. Where was Charles?
He was out in the boat.
Alone? Was he alone?
I don't know.
Well, it's easy to find out.
Mr. Barrie, it was my pleasure. I really must go in.
Oh, that's too bad.
What's the business I live in, Mrs. Chambers? Charles came for business cocktail party this afternoon. I mean, anything but a party, but there was no way I could get out of it. Without telling the other Websters about... Yes, I understand. Oh, thank you for coming to see me. Please. If I could only tell you how sorry I am about everything. I am. Good night, my dear.
After Jane Elkin's left, I talked with Mrs. Chambers for a few minutes more, then made my excuses and drove to the Cedarville Hotel and registered there. I reported my findings to Captain Lane, who said he'd check on Jane Elkins and her boyfriend. Then I stretched out on the bed and tried to figure my next move. And it didn't take long to figure. I decided to crash the Weather Racers cocktail party. Expense account item 3, $1.50, boat rental and Schoenberg services as pilot. We made it in 15 minutes. Schoenberg pulled into a long dock where a veritable armada of small craft were tied up. The party was well underway. The guests were milling around on a long strip of white beach about 50 yards below a huge Georgian house. No one asked to see my invitation, so I grabbed the drinks from a passing tray and looked around for Jane Elkins. I spotted her a few yards away, talking to a stout, mustached party with a rich bourbon complexion. I stepped briskly up to her side. Jane Elkins, I presume?
What? Oh.
Jane, I wonder if I could have a word with you. Oh, man, you won't mind if I steal the guest around or something, would you?
Mind? I certainly do mind. I wouldn't think it. Say, don't I know you? Aren't you Robinson Plumbing Supply?
No, I'm Dollar. Insurance.
Insurance? Oh, well, excuse me. See you later, Jane.
That always empties the hall in a hurry.
What are you doing here?
I've got a lot of questions that need answers.
I don't want to make a scene, but if you don't leave the thing, I'll have your show now.
You might as well talk to me as to the police. I'm a lot more sympathetic.
The police?
Yeah, the police. Now just give me some answers and I'll be on my way.
What do you want to know?
Well, that's better. What time did your fiancé come back here yesterday?
I'm not sure. I think it was around 6:30.
Mm-hmm. By the way, could you point him out to me?
He's standing over there by the bar. The man in the green jacket.
Wow, he's a big one, isn't he? Now, Miss Hawkins, what time did you return here yesterday?
About 4 o'clock?
4 o'clock. You stayed here the rest of the afternoon?
Yes.
Where were you?
Where?
Were you in the house?
Gee, you can't think it.
Take it easy. Charles is heading this way.
Please go.
Oh, not yet. Charles is the man I'd like most to meet. You two seem to be having a fascinating conversation. Mind if I butt in?
Oh, butt away, Mr. Weatherwax. My name is Dollar.
How do you do, Mr. Dollar?
Fine, thank you. If you're through with my hand now, I'd like it back.
How's that, Mr. Dollar?
I might want to use it again sometime.
Oh, sorry. Here, you can have it back.
Thanks. I want to give you a tip. Next time you try that bone-crushing bit, watch out for a left hook.
Hey, just who is this little friend of yours?
He's not a friend.
Oh, no, not a friend. Something much more than that. Much closer. Much warmer. Get out of here, Dollar. So help me, I'll break you in two. I'll scatter you all over the place.
All right, Mr. Weatherwax. I'll go. You've heard what I wanted to know. You're a jealous man and a violent man. The perfect type.
What are you talking about?
He's a detective. He's investigating Alfred's death.
Oh, why don't you say so, Dollar?
I'm not answering today. I'm asking. For instance, where were you yesterday afternoon? And do you own a .22 rifle? Chambers was killed with a .22. The slug can be traced to the rifle it was fired from. They call it ballistics. Isn't science wonderful? Goodbye, Sal. Schoenberg and I took off from LaSalle Island, but instead of heading to Center Citadel, we turned into an inlet about a half mile down the lake where we could still see the Weatherwax dock. We waited there for 10 minutes. Then Charles Weatherwax appeared on the landing. He climbed into a small cruiser and headed south. He cruised to a spot about 300 yards off the shore of Baxter's Island, hove to, stripped down to bathing trunks, put on a pair of underwater goggles, and dived in. He came up seconds later and then submerged once more. I told Schoenberg to pull up to him at top speed. When Charles surfaced again, he saw us bearing down on him and climbed hastily back into the boat. But before he could weigh anchor, we were alongside. Don't leave just yet, Charles. This is a gun in my hand.
Yeah, I see it.
You're fishing without a spear, huh? What kind of fish are you after, Charles? All right. Start it up and head for the landing. And don't get reckless, Charles. I'm a fair shot. All right, Charles. All ashore this morning, ashore.
Oh, you bet yourself.
All right. Let's go toward the house. We can talk better there. Come on, move, Charles. Move. This is far enough. All right, talk, Charles. What were you looking for out there in the sky blue water?
I don't have to tell you anything.
If you'd rather talk to Captain Lane, it's all right with me. But why not tell me? It'll look a little better on the record.
I didn't kill Chambers, but I was with him when he was killed.
Go on.
I came over to tell him to stay away from Jane.
But Jane said that she'd broken with him that same afternoon.
No, I didn't know that then. We were standing out on the dock, he and I talking. There was a shot, and he fell in the water.
And you just left him there?
But he was dead.
Oh, I'm afraid not. He made it to the cabin.
Oh, I thought he was dead. I got panicky. I realized how bad it looked. Ran to my boat and took off. Then I remembered I had a .22 rifle in the cabin. I threw it overboard. Then today you made a crack about ballistics. It came to me what I'd done. I'd thrown away the one piece of evidence that would clear me. So I came back to find it.
Well, it's a good story, but I don't buy it. I think you're... The big man was very fast. He dived at me suddenly in a flying attack, and I went over backwards. I managed to kick loose from his grip, but the gun had been jolted out of my hand. He flipped it up and pointed it at my head. I jumped at him. He went over backwards. I went over with him, grabbed the gun from his hand, and then stood up. Much the worse for wear.
You're pretty fast, Dollar.
Tell me something. Why didn't you fire? You had plenty of time. Why not? Maybe you're just not the shooting type. Maybe that tall story you told is true.
It is true.
Well, maybe I believe you. The only trouble is, if you didn't kill him, there's a good chance that Jane did.
Are you crazy?
Oh, I don't think so. Besides you, she's the only person I know of who had both motive and opportunity and no alibi.
Oh, you're raving mad. What motive would she have to kill him?
She says she told Chambers Tuesday that it was all over between them.
She did?
She says she did. But suppose it was the other way around. Suppose he jilted her.
Ever hear the line about a woman scorned? All right. All right, I killed him. I didn't know that Jane had broken up with him. He got nasty, and I shot him. I see. Where were you when you shot him? I was... What difference does that make? I tell you, I killed him. Take me into the mainland, I'll make a full confession. Okay. If you say so. I say. Hey. That was a rifle shot. Came from over there beyond those trees. Yeah. Come on, let's go, halfback. You first. We ran through the grove of fir trees and came to a little cove not more than 200 yards off. A rowboat was pulled up on the beach, and beside it was a small boy with a .22 rifle.
Hi.
Hi. What's your name?
Jimmy Pickett? What's yours?
You live over in Fire Island, don't you?
Yeah?
What were you shooting at just now?
Well, I'll be all right, you see. My father says that's her.
You come here often, you see?
Once in a while.
Were you here Tuesday afternoon around 5 o'clock?
Yeah, sure. I got 2 spears.
I'm afraid that wasn't all you got, Sonny. Well, that's the way things work out sometimes. You think you've got a cold-blooded murder on your hands, and it turns out to be a young kid who shouldn't have been given a gun on his birthday. The .22 was checked by the ballistics department and proved to be the one that had fired the fatal shot. At the inquest, the jury returned a verdict of accidental manslaughter. However, it's doubtful if young Jimmy Bishop will ever want another gun as long as he lives. Expense account item 4, $22 for hotel bill and transportation back to the Sioux Airport. Expense account item 5, $43.85, plane fare and incidentals back to Hartford. Expense account total, $114.05. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
The moral of the story when you're looking for an ending, borrow from a famous Dragnet episode. Of course, the boy using a .22 rifle and accidentally killing someone, it was the key plot of Dragnet radio Christmas episode that at this point had run every year since 1949 over the radio, and in 1952 over television. They even made it a .22 rifle. I doubt the writers were consciously thinking of borrowing from Dragnet, but that's kind of how it ended up. It's amazing the things that work their way into a writer's brain to be called up when it comes to writing a script. All right, well, that will actually do it for today. Monday, we're going to be back with an episode of Barrie Craig. Join us on Sunday. We'll have another classic TV episode of Sherlock Holmes. And then back here on Friday for yours truly, Johnny Dollar. In the meanwhile, send your comments to box13 at greatdetectives.net. Follow us on Twitter at Radio Detectives and give us a call, 208-991-4783. But from Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off. Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off. Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off. Idaho, this is your host,